Hello and welcome. Welcome to the show. It's here. I didn't set a time for tonight, but I planned on going live at 9. And then I started to scroll on Instagram and do all that stuff. So, yeah, that's what happened. I can't even lie. I cannot lie. You other honeys can't deny. Anyways, welcome. While everyone gets settled in, I just want to show off this is not my merch. This is manatee merch. Save the manatee. I love it. Oh, I don't have headphones. Oh no. Whoopsie daisies. I might have to grab that in a second. Welcome. I see everyone's comments are coming in. Thank you. Welcome. I just want to show this off too. This is while everyone gets ready. As I drop it. This is my new coloring book, Manatee Edition. If you're ever tempted, here's some manatee art that I'm going to be filling in throughout time. If you ever feel compelled or you're starting to feel like, you know what, I need to go to a personal development conference. I just need to add some motivation to my life, and it's like $1,000. Just take that money and donate it to the Save the Manatee Foundation, because that money will go so much farther than if you give it to one of these wacky tobackies, as my parents would say. Today's drink of choice, I already finished, but it's the kombucha. This one from Earth Fare, delish. And I'm going to continue on the rest of the time with a LaCroix limoncello flavor. So that's what's going on. This week my life has been pretty busy. I work one of my clients. I hate using that word, but one of my clients is a local community college, and they had graduation for the semester, for the year, for a lot of people. Obviously May, it's like summer graduation. So I got to live stream that this week. And so there's 3 separate ceremonies, one for one campus, one for nursing, and one for the main campus. So that's where I was. So I was a little MIA on my, as things were unfolding. There were lots of things to go live for, and I didn't because I was busy. But, Saturday is a day for rest, and there is no rest for the wicked. So here we are in the Rachel Hollis universe. I do need headphones, though, and I am here by myself. So no help can be given to me. Okay, so talk amongst yourselves. Actually, here's a great thing. I'm going to leave for a second. Let me know which topic you would like to hear first. Rachel, Dave. Oh, and I also have some new sound bites. So Rachel, Dave, or Heidi. Obviously the trifecta. We're going to talk about them all, probably in depth today, because there is so much. But let me know which one you want to start with, and let me grab my headphones. Okay, 3, 2, 1, meet back here in 10 seconds. No, I don't have them. This is all that I have of my headphones. Did I leave them at the venue? Oh no. Okay, well, we'll just wing it. We'll just wing it. I'll just mute myself so you don't hear the double speak. And we'll just go with the flow. Okay, let me see your answers. I see a lot of Rach's. Yeah, this is Dripping Springs, Texas, I'm assuming. The wonderful landscape. And that's a go-kart that I just happen to have in the backyard. It's a really good time out here in Texas. I see Rachel, Dave and Heidi, Rachel, Rach, Dave. Which one's the juiciest? They're all pretty juicy. I see a lot of Rach. So for that, I say Rach. You heard that right? Okay. Did you hear it twice? Because you may, because I don't have headphones. All right. As I sit here, I'm going to try to think of where I could have put them. But, Oh, you know what? Hold on. I have one more place. Stand by. Keep on putting your suggestions in. And in the meantime, let me play this new soundbite. This is a good one.
I am not emotionally stable.
Okay, they're not in there either. So let me know if there's audio problems. I actually just ordered a new microphone that was, as Dave would say, obscenely expensive. So soon there should be no audio problems ever again. And I'm investing money into my equipment so that we can all have the best experience possible together. All right, I see Rach. I see Rach, so let's do Rach. Let's catch up. Oops. I'm revealing all my secrets today. This is my true, I'm not really, guys. Guys, I just have to tell you something, that I'm not really in Dave's backyard in this sunset. I'm actually just stuck in this green box. I'm actually in a green box, and I just couldn't be honest with you guys because I just, you know that I want to be perfect and perceived as perfect, and so I just couldn't tell you that. Okay, stand by. Let me fix that for one quick sec. Let's just keep Dave going. Let's keep Dave rocking and rolling. Here we are. Wow. You're doing so well, Kayla. You're doing so well with this live stream. I promise. It'll get better. I'm like a fine wine. I taste like grapes. Okay, here we go. All right. So here's Rachel's. This is actually, I don't know why the first one was blurry, and this, I guess it's like, oh, I think I have it on some sort of blur effect. This is the true Texas grass. Dripping Springs, Texas background. You can see my go-kart, like I said before. Very relatable. All right, so I have a confession to make. Okay, this is an actual confession. There was one good Rachel Hollis podcast this week. And by good, I mean compared to other podcasts, bad. But compared to Rachel's own body of work, good. It was her most recent one. It's I think in relation to this post. She talked to a songwriter named Tom Douglas, and he's written a bunch of songs, and she was in Nashville. We're going to talk about that. This is the whole basis around the discussion about Rachel. But she's been in Nashville writing music and using her fame and fortune to open doors for her and to propel her to, I don't know, new heights, I guess. She keeps saying that it's just a hobby of hers, but then she's also said that she's got plans and that everything will make sense very quickly or very soon. So why she's doing these sorts of events or whatever. But anyway, so she had this interview with Tom Douglas, and I actually enjoyed it. The only part I didn't enjoy is when she gave her own 2 cents. But I really enjoyed hearing from him, and I ended up looking up his music and thought it was great, and I think he's a pretty cool person from what I could tell on the very small basis of what he gave in his interview. It seemed very genuine, and I think it's because he wasn't trying to sell something to the audience, and he didn't even know really who Rachel was. So it seemed like a genuine conversation, and I wish that her podcast was like that more. Like she brought on people who were from different walks of life and not just trying to sell you some sort of programs and bullshit you. You know, it was actually good. So I try to give credit where I can, and I actually, you know, was looking at it or listening to it for snark purposes, then had really nothing to say, other than, you know, Rachel's perspective on things is skewed. But the guest was good, so. Oops, that's huge. So that was my 2 cents on it. Anyways, okay, so let's go to Rach Talk. That's what we're gonna watch. That's what this not clickbait thumbnail was all about. That she wants to work in a gas station, ? Yes. Rachel wishes that life was just easy. You know, she just always wanted to be a mom, a stay-at-home mom who worked at the gas station part-time.
Hey guys, welcome.
And, you know, she never wanted this life. You wanted this life for her. You wanted her to be made for more. She wanted to be made for less. That's the story. That's the real story. Okay, before we continue, I want to give a special shout out. I don't know if they're here. But from anyone, actually, no, I'll wait. I just want to play one more Heidi clip because these are so, actually, don't listen to anything I'm saying. I'm going to actually play a Dave Hollis one.
Turns out you can have a full life without putting it all on social media.
Who knew? Who knew? Dave knew. Turns out. Okay, so let's go back to Rachel. Okay, so this Rach Talk, in my humble opinion, is one of the most unlikable moments or pieces of content of Rachel, probably since she talked about how funny her son Ford's heartbreak was. That was pretty cringe and pretty sad. But this one makes Rachel look like an asshole. I mean, I think we can all assume how she is. But this one, she was like, I think because she was probably feeling like she was in Nashville when she recorded this. I think she maybe felt like, oh, I am so hot. Like, I am just the hottest thing to ever enter Nashville. Like, she's from LA or whatever. So maybe she had like, you know, some sort of high esteem that day. But the way she spoke about all the topics, it was just above and beyond, making her look like the most out of touch person possible. There's also a podcast where she gives advice to 20-year-olds that needs to be listened to with like 75 caveats. Like, if you're a middle class or above white woman in their 20s that has dispensable income, no fears about, you know, financial insecurity, have no relationships, and like several other things, no children, then this is good advice for you. But of course she says, like, everyone should take this advice. It's amazing. All people can benefit at all times. So there you go. That's my setup for that. And before we go on, I want to say thank you to Julie Mulvihill. I like that. It's a lemon character waving goodbye while winking and sending a shooting star. Well, for that, Julie, I need to say...
That wasn't nice.
That wasn't nice. Lemons are too sour for me. I'm just kidding. I love sour stuff. But, you know, next time, just up it a little bit.
$18 stinking dollars.
That's the minimum that I'm expecting at any given time. So work on it and come back to me. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, let's go.
Hey guys, welcome.
This is lucky number 13. Oh, I think after a second, when I full screen, it won't matter what side I'm on. But hold on 1 second. I want to make one tiny change so that if you super chat or anything, it should pop up now. From now on. Okay, change is done, full screen time. I'm gonna mute my mic in between time. So we'll figure this out as we go with no headphones. Okay, let's go.
Welcome to Rach Talk, my weekly show where I sit, in this case, in a hotel room, drink caffeine, and talk about random things. Today, I am introducing you to Walker County, my new writing buddies, an incredible band out of Nashville. We are hanging out in Nashville. We're talking about thieves. We're talking about flirting. We're talking about my relationship. We're talking about...
Shocking.
I can't remember what else we're talking about, but it's going to be fun. You should totally hang out. Welcome to Nashville, guys. We must have shot at some point a Rach Talk on location, but I can't remember it. I've shot a Rach Talk like by myself with a random camera. Do you remember that time I was in?
You could also do that now, Rach. You could do that now, yet you insist on hiring somebody to do these, not idiotic is not the right word, but just completely inconsequential stories about your own life that no one cares about except for us in a snark capacity. And he forced Jack, who I saw someone comment today about Jack, because we always joke and say free Jack, he's being held captive, and we're going to talk about that too, because he has a little bit of a moment. You don't see his face, but you hear there's a kind of a awkward interaction between him and Rach in this Rach Talk, and someone's like, Jack's a grown man and he followed her, Rachel, from LA to Austin, and at this point it's his own fault. And I tend to agree. I tend to agree at this point. I'm a free Jack supporter, but he's also a grown man, so he should know better. Same as Dave. Women can't guide you their whole lives. Figure it out, Jack.
Jack.
But also I feel bad for him. But also get a new job. Okay. Oh, see, it worked. Thank you, Stella. Okay, what did you say? These lives are my absolute favorite. Thank you for doing them, even though I know you can get Hollist out. We love you. Look, I never get Hollist out. TBH, to be honest. I'm just afraid that at some point, a judge is going to look at this case, in this fictitious case that I've come up with in my head, where they say, you're insane for covering all of our moves for the last 2 years. And they're going to be like, you made 75 videos. What do you have to say for yourself? And I'm like, I'm just interested. Don't know how to explain it. It's just like a thing you got to understand, be a part of, inside of this community in which we have grown in number over time and have decided that. I'll just say that to the judge and he'll be like, oh, he or she will be like, bravo, you've inspired me so. You are innocent. And then I'll walk out of the halls and just run down the stairs. I'm like, I'm free. Okay. Anyways, so I'm never Hollist out. I love it. But, I'm just trying to be, I don't know, rational, I suppose, not get in trouble. But, they put it out there for consumption. I think I'm able to react. We'll see. If I get arrested, you can bail me out. I'll post my bail. Everyone can rally around. Anyways, okay. Back to Rach.
A really cold place in the middle of winter. It's got to be like our first season of Rach Talk. I was doing my audiobook. It was January in Michigan.
Of course there was Michigan. Of course there was a biker gang.
I am in Nashville. I've had Jack come out to shoot with me because I just thought it'd be really cool to like mix it up, shake it up, do the thing. And because I'm in Nashville making music, I could pull in some fun guests, which you're going to see a little bit later, to, make Rach Talk a little bit more exciting. Also, this shirt I love, but there's sweat here. And so this is why I'm doing this. I was trying not to go like this. It's also the same reason, if you've ever wondered, I don't know why you would, but if you've ever wondered why I always wear jackets on stage, it's because, also, how do you whistle? This is how I whistle. I know. My older siblings used to say I looked like a rat, which was rude.
Her siblings said that she was like a rat, and her husband called her a mouse. So, it's getting better. No, mouse or a bunny rabbit, or both. Because it's a country mouse, but then I'm thinking it's some sort of bunny rabbit animal. Yeah, the blouse sweating comes up later, and I think it's so ironic because, Rach, our girl Rach is Miss Sustainability 2022. She's won the pageant for only buying clothes from expensive vintage Austin stores, and she's single-handedly saving the world via doing this. Forget that she drinks plastic non-reusable cups for smoothies, teas, so it seems. That's not important. What's important is that she spends $400 on sweaters that have been worn once before by someone else. So, if we don't fall into climate catastrophe, Rach is to thank for that. All right. And how does she whistle? pretty normal to me. But she apparently thinks she's the only one that whistles with her mouth in a whistling position. That's the thing with Rachel. Every time she thinks she's the only one that's done everything, including.
Am I the only hippie?
So there'll be bunches of examples of that as well.
But probably accurate. I don't know how people whistle like this. Like with your lips pursed, I only know this. Rat. We were in Nashville last week. Jack, if you'll recall. Jack came here. Last week I was here. I was shooting a podcast. Jack came out. And can we just tell this story? It's the most Jack story I ever in my life. I asked Jack, I said, hey, are you available to come to Nashville to shoot this podcast? And he's like, yes, of course I am. I'm thinking, let's knock out some Rach Talks while you're here. Let's get an on-location moment. So I sent a note to the team. I said, hey, when does Jack land in Nashville so that we can shoot these Rach Talks? They said, oh, he's driving. He's driving from Austin, Texas to Nashville, Tennessee. Why? Because he...
Okay, hold that thought. Thank you, Albanese. You want to hear I Will Slowly Buy You a Boat. And with that $9.99 super chat, it is happening, as Dave would say.
I will slowly buy you a boat.
And while he does it, he will say,
I love you.
So, don't get creeped out. That sound is really from Dave. Dave? We talking about peace? No, I'm talking about sitting on my patio. Okay. Anyways, okay, so just to recap what Rachel said. She's like, so now I'm starting to think that Jack might just be like Rachel was a client of Jack's, because him and I both do, I think, something fairly similar, video production for clients in this sense. And I've had clients similar to Rachel. They're more wannabes than actual, successful self-help people. But, I don't work for them full time. So if they ask me, hey, can you come out to shoot this for me? I do have the right to say yes or no. And, they can either pay for my travel or I can bill it or whatever. There's so it sounds like Jack is not even a full-time employee of Rachel, which sort of is not surprising, I guess, the more I think about it. But, I asked my team, why doesn't she acts like Jack is like her best friend. Like, oh, we talk about everything, and oh, you've been with me for 6 years, and da-da-da-da-da, and you have to hear about me talk about my bikini waxes and all that. But then she can't text him to find out, hey, when do you show up? She has to text intermediately with her team, who I think is one person, honestly. Just based on what LinkedIn looks like, there's like 2 people who list Rachel as or Hollis company. It's like her, Rachel, obviously Rachel, I don't even know if Jack lists it, and then one other person. So I think the team is like Nicole, who she talks to off camera during Rach Talk sometimes. So interesting. So I just feel like, okay, so he's driving because, and then he's going to say in a second, like he didn't know that he was allowed to fly or that she was going to pay for him to fly there. So he just drove from Austin to Nashville, which is a pretty far drive. But it just seems like there's a little bit of fake friendship going on here, Rachel. Jack, I think you should be able to text your friends if Jack is such a good friend of yours. But we'll see where this saga goes.
He thought...
And I just wanted to point out that she hasn't brought up her boyfriend yet, so this is a successful Rach Talk thus far.
He was supposed to, because he likes a road trip, because he wants to drive for 12 hours straight. Did you think I wouldn't fly you here, or you just wanted to drive? Okay. Because the way I heard it was, oh, he didn't know, and so he's like, and I was like, what kind of monster makes someone drive their own vehicle across state lines? It was so crazy. But
I mean, if we're asking that question, I think the answer is someone like you, Rachel. Because if Jack knows you best, I'm moving myself over here. Jack knows you best. Actually, I'll stay here. He knows you very well, and he doesn't feel comfortable of saying, hey, I'm going to drive. Don't freak out. I want to. And yes, I think Rachel said that he's converted a van into a house. So it makes sense. He's maybe mobile. Maybe he lives in the van. I don't know. Full time, perhaps. So driving is like being home. None of my business, really. None of her business, really. But here we are talking about it because she's blasting this out to followers for, again, consumption. But it just seemed weird. Like, Yeah, it does seem kind of weird that you guys aren't communicating in any way about this in advance, especially when the trip is about songwriting, not some sort of, oh, this is an emergency trip. I've been super busy. I haven't had a moment to talk to you. It's been like, oh, you're coming up here to write songs. I don't know. Okay, let's continue.
But we did a podcast that was so amazing, and I am really, really pumped for you guys to get to see it. It comes out soon. There's going to be a whole theme. Y'all, if you don't like music, get ready, because it's going to be a big part of the stuff that we're working on, so it's going to weave its way in. But got to sit down with an incredible...
Okay, so that's what I said. She'll say later, and she said in other podcasts, like, I'm just songwriting because it's a hobby of mine. And then she also says that she's a writer, and it's always been her goal, which... Let me know if you've heard this before the last 6 months. She's like, it's always been my goal to write in every category. I've written fiction and nonfiction. She wrote a screenplay, and now she wants to songwrite because that's always been her plan, not because her boyfriend is in the music industry. That was more my take on it, but she's claiming that, that's been a whole thing. And then she also said in the interview with the songwriter, Tom, the one I enjoyed, she said that it's also because her brother was into music, the one that passed away. She's talked about it at length at this point, and that he liked music. She's using his guitar to learn how to play guitar, and she's like, oh, I'm keeping his memory alive by learning how to play music. So maybe that's a bit of truth. Maybe that is fully the truth. I'm not going to say it's not, but then it becomes like it is part of the business because you're making, podcasts about it. Rach talks about it. That is how she makes money at this point right now, is putting out content and putting ads on it. So you're monetizing this, whether you want to agree with that or not. It's not a hobby if you're making money from it. I mean, if she had another job and she was making money and then this was on the side, I could be like, okay, well, you're making side income. But this is her full income, so it seems. This and selling journals, but she also sells the journals via these platforms. So I don't know what she means by it. It's just a hobby. And then all my content is now going to be shifting towards songwriting. I don't know. It's confusing.
Incredible songwriter, like a really, like one of the greats, and talk about songwriting. So I'm really excited. But because Jack drove, we didn't quite have enough time on the ground last week. So he came back out, he flew, don't worry, he flew this time, and we're here and we're doing this thing. And I got a list, Jack. I got a list of things to talk about. Buckle up. Okay. I love that I have this note on my phone for Rach Talk conversations, and this is in caps. That's how serious I am about it. In Cali, if you want to get your car washed, you go to a place, you get out of your car, and someone takes your car through, and then people like clean it all and whatever, and here's your car. In Texas, to my knowledge, I don't even know where that would be. You don't get out of the car and nobody's cleaning inside your car. There's drive-through car washes, okay? Have you been to a drive-through car wash? Yeah. Drive-through car washes, and some are like...
I never understand. Like, I'm from Florida. I've been, around the United States. I've been to many states. All this shit exists everywhere. It's not like she lives in Antarctica and she's like, oh, have you ever seen a polar bear walking down the street? Like, this is really unique to me in my life, and I'm the only one to experience this, and people in my small town in Nunavut, Like, I don't know. Like, can you imagine what a drive-through car wash is? It's like, yeah, there's different levels of car wash. There's the ones where you go by yourself and you go in. There's some that are attached to gas stations. I mean, maybe I am like just so in my own bubble in Florida, but I've also traveled other places, and I don't think there's some sort of special different car wash. And who cares? Anyways, I saw someone's comment, like, she's really run out of material. Okay, let's just go fast through this part. I agree.
At the gas station, you sort of just put in your info. And then some are like, this is a legit, we're committed to this, right? This is a business. And there's like college kids who are like scrubbing the car before it goes through the long tunnel with the whirring and the woo and the shh and the and all of it, okay? When I go to the car wash, you go up to the screen and it says like, do you want the basically like, do you want tall, venti, or grande or whatever. Like, what level of car wash do you want? I get $20 because I do my car so rarely that I want to like treat her. Here's my question. How does the car wash tunnel know that my car got the $20 wash? Whoa. I want you to imagine a line. So you go to this thing, it's like 3 banks, right? And then they all merge into one. And then you go into the tunnel. You're telling me that this car wash...
How do they know at Chick-fil-A when there's 2 lines and they converge, they figure it out, they write down white sedan, $20, probably, or the computer does it for you, or I don't know, it's some sort of technology, I would imagine. Who cares?
Wash has the technology to know that I picked the $20 one and Jack picked the $12 one. No, it's all the same car wash. I feel convinced it is all the same car wash. How does it know? So what it says in my...
Yeah, this is a great point, and I meant to bring this up when she first said it. She's like, oh, they're acting like it's a real business. They're wiping the front of my car. It's like, is the only business that's real to you like selling motivational bullshit? Like, that's the only business that's a real business? A car wash is more than a real business, and Rachel Hollis has ever been a part of. I mean, Dave worked for a real business, but then as soon as he joined the Hollis company, it became fantasy and fiction, in my opinion. So I don't think she knows what business is. She's like, if you're not inspiring millions of women to lose weight, then you're not in a business. It's not a real business, babes. That's not. If you're not selling Monat hair care, it's not even a business. It's basically a 9-to-5. You're a robot. I'm Rachel. She sucks, and she's going to talk about how the gas station thing in a second. So in a short little bit about how easy working at a gas station is. She's ridiculous. Okay, let's continue.
My notes is, does the drive-through car wash really know the difference? You know when I wrote that note? When I was going through the car wash. Here's my next question. These are just questions. These are just the things that I ponder, okay? How do thieves, I literally wrote down the word thieves. How do thieves not steal all the to-go lunches at restaurants? Okay, so like when COVID happened, it got really popular to get, takeout or DoorDash or whatever. So if you go into restaurants in Austin that are popular,
This is only in restaurants in Austin that are popular because that's the only one Rachel goes to. This doesn't happen at Chipotle in Omaha, Nebraska, okay? That is lame. Losers go there. This only happens at fancy restaurants in Austin where there's to-go orders and the person has the phone app and they look, oh, it's for Michael. It says Michael, I'm going to take it. Because not everyone is all about stealing, Rachel. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the system is. It must work for them. Probably the amount of theft is so low that the system of just putting them there for the people who are going to get them is sufficient enough. Therefore, it works. That would be my 2 cents. But she acts again like, have you ever heard of like the box that's in your kitchen? It's like, it has like 2 doors. Some of them open like this and some of them open. There's 2 different, like a smaller level and like a larger level. And like inside you can store your milk and like your produce and stuff. Yeah, it blew my mind that, this refrigerator in my house, gets so cold. And I wondered like, if your refrigerator's running, like, you better go catch it. Like, okay, I was trying to make a joke there. It didn't quite connect there. Sorry, I am not the comedian that Rachel is. That didn't work, but, the effort was made, and I find that to be worthwhile. Okay, let's continue her talking about what to-go orders look like in Austin.
There's all of these, like, shelves. And the shelves have like a bag that says Jack, a bag that says Rachel, a bag that says Joe, whatever. Y'all, we could be eating like kings for free. Like in my notes, I said, imagine you put on a different disguise. You have like your Carmen Sandiego hat and like, a fake mustache and you go in and you're like, nobody's policing that. You literally go up to the shelf and you're like, now, you're taking a gamble about what's in that bag, but you could just look for a bag that has like heavier stuff. Also, sometimes, back in the day when I used to eat drive-through food, it happened very rarely.
I remember this part too. Back in the day when I used to eat trash on the side of the road covered in dirt and bugs, when I didn't know that that was bad for you, I used to experience this before I was awakened that Slim Fast shakes are the only thing that I consume now. Herbalife. I'm really anti-MLM today. Back in the day when I used to eat fast food, like the disgusting person that I used to be, who I am shamed that I even was me. I mean, she's talked about how her and Dave used to eat, you know, at Longhorn Steakhouse or whatever, and how disgusting it was and how crazy that they used to do that before. It's like, just relax, Rachel. Like, I don't know. Like, just say, why do you have to make that comment? Just to make it abundantly clear that she no longer eats fast food, everybody. In case you're worried about Rachel's waistline, she doesn't eat fast food anymore. She'll eat queso once in a while, but only sometimes sushi if it's like too fattening. Like, I don't understand her diet at all. But I was watching this old Rachel video the other day, back in like 2019, and she was saying like, you know, I've discovered that food is fuel, and I don't even care what it tastes like anymore. All I care about is if it fuels my body. So I only eat healthy foods that fuel my body. I don't even care about, you know, how crunchy it is. I'm like, oh God, that sounds awful. Don't sign me up for that ever, please.
But every once in a while you get something that someone else ordered and it was a delight. You like ordered the salad and then you accidentally got like someone's burger and you were like, thank you God, I didn't actually want the salad, I wanted the burger. But what I'm saying is, how do thieves not take all the lunches? How is this not like an issue? I've never, have you stolen something before? Besides people's hearts? I have never stolen anything in my whole life, ever.
Yeah, okay. I know she's talking about physical goods, you know, from Walgreens. She never stole mascara. She stole a lot of content, a lot of quotes. You know, Still I Rise is not a Rachel Hollis original, in case you didn't know. I guess she says that her team is responsible for that, but we all pretty much know that that probably is not true. So it's so funny for her to say this. I've never stolen anything. I mean, intellectual property, well, let's not go that far. But I did not steal CoverGirl, the London Look lashes. She's innocent in that, but she's going to try to divert away from the digital goods and intellectual thoughts and writings that she did steal from.
Ever. I have the fear of God about stealing. I'm not lying. I really am like afraid of it. When I went to the mall for the very first time at like 13 years old, went to the East Hills Mall, it was the thing to do. My dad dropped us off. It was me and like two friends, and my dad turned around in the back seat and he said, if you ever steal anything, I will help them prosecute you. See you later. And we wonder why I've had years of therapy. And he was serious.
I don't agree with this one. I mean, I'm all about, like I said, all about going to therapy. She needs to go to therapy and be in therapy. But that specific instance, if I don't find that to be horribly offensive or, you know, crazy. I feel like maybe it could have been delivered lighter, maybe, but yeah, you probably should warn your children not to steal, and if they do, then I'm not going to help you get out of that situation. I don't know. Maybe I'm not a parent, but I can see my parents saying something like that, like, if you steal, you're on your own. So good luck. Bye. Don't do it. I don't think that's necessary. Like, you know, her parents buying her a Sears jacket. She also made it like, oh yeah, this explains why I'm the way I am. They bought me a jacket from Sears. It's like, it's not really what causes childhood trauma. There probably is more going on, but I don't think this example is the one that's relatable. Hashtag relatable. Hashtag
I want to be relatable.
Okay, let's Continue.
All of us kids, my siblings, like none of us under like, you could hold us at gunpoint, we wouldn't steal anything because he gave that speech to all of us. So it works. But I still to this day, I have driven back to a store in Los Angeles, parked, which is like takes an hour and a half, just because I accidentally got something. I got home and realized like, oh my gosh, I didn't pay for this thing. It was like, I know specifically, I remember I was buying trash cans at Target in LA, and I was also getting a collar for my dog, and it like ended up in the stack, so I didn't see it. And when they scanned it, they scanned the 3 trash cans, but not the collar that was inside. That collar was probably $8. I spent over an hour getting it back to the store, took it inside, and paid for it. I am honest. I do not steal. Ever, ever, ever.
But when it comes to famous authors, that really changed literary history in our minority group, that's where I draw the line. I'm all about stealing that. And for David, who is in the hospital tonight, which sucks. I'm so sorry. I'm hoping that it's covered by insurance, but if not, it may cost
As much as Jeffrey's dental surgery.
So that sucks. But maybe while you're in there and recovering and feeling better, you can let us know.
What happened to dinosaurs?
Please research and let us know. But feel better, for real. And thank you for watching while you're there, because that's a commitment that I'm glad you're making. Thank you. All right, back to Rachel.
But I feel like there's an opportunity with the free lunch, guys.
Okay, there she is again, drinking her plastic. I understand that one person alone is not going to solve, the recycling problems in America. So I try to do my best. I try to recycle, but I'm not going to blame one person for causing all the world's issues. But as someone who goes on and says, in the podcast that we're going to listen to later, that buying clothes that are less expensive is hurting women and bad for the environment and being very judgmental about it. For her to drink from a plastic non-reusable cup is pretty ironic, moronic, and annoying and hypocritical, to say the very least. Okay, we've moved on from this stupid anecdote. Let's move on.
I wouldn't. I'd start crying. I'd get caught. I would 100% get caught. My boo tells me this all the time. Like, anywhere we want to go.
Okay, the boo was mentioned 9 minutes and 38 seconds in. For that, we will say
Boo thing.
And
My boyfriend.
under 10 minutes, I'll approve it. It's all right with me.
Anything we want to do, I make him ask because, 1, he's beautiful. 2, he has a beautiful accent and people will give him anything. Anything. He's like, no, it's not true. I'm like, yes, it is. I will go ask that hostess for a seat and they'll be like, no. Do you have a reservation? I'm like, no. They're like, get the out of here. They don't say that. Bleep that out. He walks in. He's like, hello. And they're like, what can we do? Where can we put? What do you need? So I make him do it. But I'm pretty sure that I go to any situation like that assuming I'm already in trouble. I understand I'm manifesting this, but I'm like, you don't, like, oh my, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to bother you. You definitely don't have a seat for us, right? I'm just like confirming that you don't have a seat for us. Yeah. Where were we? Somewhere recently that he like made me do it because he thinks I'm ridiculous. And then I just absolutely screwed it up. And he was like, what? Why? I think I was like trying to park somewhere or do something. And I was like, hi, is it okay? It's like, we're not going to the thing, but is it okay if it's only going to be, and the guy was like, no. We drove away and Boo was like, you're the literal, why would you tell them? Why would you give them? I'm like, I don't want to get in trouble. So anyway.
Every story she tells about him, she tells it as if it's like this cute story that's amazing and shows how great he is. But underlying, it shows to me that their relationship is not going that great. Every time. like, oh, he doesn't talk to me, he doesn't ask me questions, oh, he's out of town, and like his friend had me buy this $2,000 bottle of wine, but it's fine, he just sends me like little notes, oh, he's gone again, oh, blah blah blah, oh, he said I was ridiculous and I don't know how to, he wants me to ask instead of him. It's like, I don't know who's at fault. They're probably both, you know, at fault in a lot of ways. I'm not saying that he's a bad person or a bad guy, but like it sounds like their relationship, they're not quite compatible. At least in the stories that she tells about him. And the fact that he hasn't posted about her or mentioned her at all in any sort of public platform that I can see. And it's funny because in the podcast we're almost getting to, I'll have to get through this faster so we can get to that because there's so much stuff in that one. She talks about Raya, which we had suspected was the app that she used to find him. And then she reveals that she was not just looking for friends. She was looking specifically for guy friends because she's such a guy's girl. Which AKA, you know, basically means, not to be mean, but that's like basically what a pick-me girl is. And that, I know that's kind of mean to say. I don't really, you know, mean it in all those cases, but you know, pick me girl in the sense is like, you know, a girl who's like, I don't like other women because, oh, thank you, Connect the Dots podcast, thanks for the sub. You know, I'm not like other girls. Other girls are just drama. They're just drama. I want to hang out with the boys because she likes getting the attention from males. That's a stereotype, I know, but, you know, I can definitely see that being true with Rachel.
Okay, can we talk about the animals, the monsters, the people who do not clear notifications on their phone? What is wrong with you? Who hurt you? Do you know what I'm talking about? When, like, look, okay, so right now on my phone, I have 3 emails and 2 texts. This is stressing me. Stressing, okay? The second that I'm not talking to y'all, these are getting cleared. Like, I cannot have those little... Have you ever seen someone that has like 1,297 unread emails, 1 million unread text messages?
Yes, her name is Heidi Powell. I'm pretty sure your ex-husband, Dave Hollis, is very familiar with this person. This sounds exactly like her. You should call her up and tell her that she should clear her messages. This is who it's coming to mind for me, Rachel.
They've got, it's like all over their screen. They're like, red, 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 red. Does your weird not iPhone have notifications? You have notification. Of course you do. That actually seems really on brand for you. What kind of phone do you have? Carrier pigeon? I would like
She's so funny. Making fun of her staff is so funny. Oh, they're so poor. They don't have iPhone. She's so mean, but it's in a good way because she loves him and she's rooting for him. So it doesn't matter what she says. It doesn't matter.
my phone on fire. I would throw it down a hill. How do you know what you need to do how? And I do this thing where if I need to respond to something, I'll not open it because I know I need to go back in. Like, let's see what's happening on tech. Oh, it's from my boo. He saw me. He loves me.
Thank you, Rach, but not Rach, for that $5 super chat. Thank you.
Rach?
But not
Rach?
Let's see what you said. This live is saving me and Boothang from boredom on a long drive. Bless. Bless up. As Dave Hollis would say, bless your heart. That's Goofy meets Dave Hollis. Okay, so if you missed that, and thank you very much, Rach, but not Rach. If you missed that last moment, she says, I don't even know what I would do if my text messages were so many notifications. Let me just see real quick what this one says. Oh, it's my boo who says he loves me. Yeah, okay, Rach. He's probably this is over. Stop calling me. Stop putting me in your Rach videos. Jack is texting me right now and saying that I was mentioned before 10 minutes. I have disclosed that my lawyers will be in touch. I do not want to be involved in these supposed YouTube vlogs or whatever this is. It's not even a vlog. It's like a retelling of nonsense that goes on in her brain. Please cease and desist. And she's like, he says he loves me. That's just my thoughts.
See, that was worth it, but also I get a dopamine hit because now I don't have any notifications there. Let's see what's going on in email. Apparently, at some point in life, I signed up for emails to tell me if there was ever a liquor store for sale in Austin, Texas, and I just got a notification there is one. You know why? Because I did pre-pandemic ask this.
You know why? Because I have an unhealthy relationship with alcohol, and I figured, why not partake in the profits of that? No, not it? Okay, continue.
Question to my financial person. I was like, what are the businesses that can survive anything? And they were like gas stations, liquor stores, da 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 da. And so I like just started looking at all these different things because I was like, well, maybe I'm not gonna add to the problem. But it would be kind of fun. I have like I sometimes think I might at some point in my life open a coffee shop, open a bookstore, open a Whoosie Whatsy, open a gas station, and just like work there. And you'll come in to get gas, and then I'll be like, hi, pump 7? Like, just what a life. I don't have to like be on for camera anymore. I don't have to wear like Little House on the Prairie shirts. I don't have to try and do my makeup and fail miserably, clearly. I just have to help you get your gas or like make you the perfect cortado, which I feel like I can definitely do. But then I wouldn't have time to write, so.
I hate her. I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna like open a gas station and like, be like, oh, pump 7. Okay, hold that thought. Thank you, James Wojek. Towards the boat or a Harley Davidson. Definitely putting it towards the boat.
I will slowly buy you a boat.
My fiance bought a bike. It's not a Harley though. It's a Indian something Scout bobber. If you're familiar with bikes, that's the one he got. But if you ever want to take it for a ride,
I am all about getting a free ride.
So, thank you, James. Okay, this part really grinded my gears a lot because it's so out of touch and so on brand. That should be a quote, like, so out of touch and so on brand. The Rachel Hollis podcast and Rach Talk. I thought about this when I heard this the first time. I was like visually angry watching this on my computer. Like, what the is wrong with her? Like, does she do this on purpose to just be a troll, or does she actually think that her life is harder than someone who works at a fucking gas station? Like, not only, and this is something that I dealt with in local news, but like people who work at gas stations, those are, a lot of them are overnight. You're working late hours. Even it doesn't matter the neighborhood. Those are dangerous places to be. People get shot and killed, like fairly often compared to other careers at gas stations because people, come in there and just want cash and they're out of their mind and it happens a lot. So she just thinks working at a gas station is just like just fun and easy, just like working, I don't know, like working at some sort of luxury resort or something. Like, I just want some gas and pump 7? Yeah, of course. You don't think people are going to be horribly mean to you? You think because you're Rachel Hollis that someone's going to care about that? Oh, but then she won't have time to write. Oh, because, that's what she can do. How important. Oh, how important. Her words are changing lives. Oh, she really needs to do that and focus on that. Oh, we're so unlucky that she can't open a liquor store for us. Like, she's so... The fact that she puts this and posts this just shocks me to no end. And I guess maybe she's trying to appeal to an audience of like people who've never been in gas stations before, like that higher echelon of celebrity. And maybe because she's hanging out with celebrities now because of her boyfriend or whatever, she's getting more and more out of touch. But it's just like, just cater this shit to them. Just open like some sort of private account and make it 10 grand to join and just talk about all this dumb shit in there. Because the fact that it's public and she's trying to appeal to like the everyday woman, the soccer mom from Ohio, as she said to Tony Robbins, it's like, it ain't working. It ain't working no more.
Oh, I forget we have Walker County coming in. I can't talk as much because we actually have guests today. What a terrible entrance for them, by the way. Like me talking about people stealing lunches. Okay, well, you know what? They knew. They knew what they were going to... Look. I cleared it and I already have 2 more. Oh, it's them. Aw, cuties. Oh, we are cute. Okay. Have we ever had guests that I was not really?
Okay, before we get to the guests, Beth Ann Marie, thank you very much. $4.99. It is not, actually, hold on. For that one, I think we should thank Rachel that she doesn't work at the gas station, but she's also going to complain, and Dave can tell her this.
I'm sorry that you don't have a job.
At a gas station. But, you know, dreams live on. Rach, be quiet. And I say that like with all jokes. These are all jokes, Judge. These are all jokes. I never want to silence anybody. You know, this is her free speech and she's exercising it. I just disagree.
I'm super freaking privileged.
We know. This is very evident based on this this one Rach Talk alone has shown your privilege. Shown your privilege in real time, as they say.
But also,
she still sucks, just generally. Thank you for that. Okay, so now we're going to talk to the couple who, not a couple, they're sisters. Not couple. The couple of women who are writing songs with Rachel. I have really no notes on them at all, but she talks about why they wrote the song or how they wrote the song. And upon hearing the song this time, the first time I saw it on the Instagram, I was like, oh, that's a pretty good song. I like it. It's catchy. The words are kind of whatever. Of course, they're about Rachel Hollis's life. What else could it be? You know, that's all she's basically written about her whole life. Her blog was about her life. Her 2 fiction books, or however many, well, I don't know how, I know at least 2 fiction books that she wrote were like Party Girl and Something Girl were about loosely based on her experiences as an event planner. So sort of based on her life. And Dave too. I don't know about the other ones that she says like didn't succeed. I don't know where those are. And then Girl Wash Your Face, Girl Stop Apologizing, Didn't See That Coming were all about her life. So of course her song's going to be about her life too. So here they are. I think they're pretty nice. I don't know anything about these people. Guess we'll find out together.
Related to on this podcast. I don't think we've ever done it on Rach Talk. You might be the first.
Really?
On
Really?
2
Only
levels.
like family?
Only like my kids, to be honest with
honored.
you.
Well,
Or
thank
like,
you.
well, I guess people we work with have been here too. I've never had.
Once again, she's cross-legged on a chair to seem relatable, and that she's just super comfy. I like how these women at least sit on the chair on the couch in a appropriate way, and not appropriate like, oh, they're women, they have to act a certain way, but genderless way, professional, sitting on the couch. Just, this is an interview. I want to appear like I care about being here. Rachel's like, no, crisscross applesauce, boss.
Had
Okay.
newbies, and I've also definitely never had a performance, so I feel a little bit like we're doing a late night special.
Well, now we're part of the family.
Yeah,
We're
yes,
part of your
I'm
family
adopting
now.
you guys. I didn't tell you, but
We're sisters, so it works.
right, perfect. I would love it if you would introduce yourselves
Yes.
and tell your story, because it's really interesting.
It is. It's
you
a
start,
it's a
sis.
fun long story. I am Sophie Dawn Walker.
Yes, and I'm her big sister, Ivy Dean Walker.
The fact that y'all are putting in middle names is the
Oh.
most southern I have ever seen. The most southern stuff I have ever seen.
Yeah,
I
Mom
won't
always
cuss.
says she named us to be country singers.
Yes,
Ivy
yeah.
Dean and Sophie Dawn. I mean,
Sophie
it
Dawn.
fits.
It just
I love
works. You can kind
Yeah,
of start
but
off
we,
being good at telling it.
Yeah, we started playing music together now for 14 years. We started in 2007 when Sophie was 9 and I was 12. So we've been playing music together for a super long time. We actually we are from Indiana, went on a family vacation to Nashville in 2007 with our mom and dad. And we grew up loving music, just being obsessed with music. My dad was a huge influence all growing up in music. So when we came to Nashville, he was like, let's street perform just to say we did it.
Yeah.
Just open the guitar case on Broadway. Of course, we'd seen that in movies and all that since we were little
Yeah,
kids. We were
that's
like,
something
okay.
you do,
Yeah.
you street
Yeah.
perform. So we did it.
We
Yeah,
did.
for like
We
10
made
minutes.
We made like $4 in 10 minutes. We
What'd
played
you
like
sing?
literally just
think
old
you-
bluegrass stuff.
I think you sang like "I Fall to Pieces,"
Yeah, some
like
old
some
traditional
good, like
country.
traditional stuff. Yeah,
That's so
But-
cute.
So we sang for about 10 minutes and Sophie kicked me. And so Dad would like close the guitar case. Was like, we're done.
had a little fight. I mean,
were
nothing's
nine.
changed.
We were,
Right?
She was
You were
9.
little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we ended up going back to the hotel and Dad was like, you made like $4 or whatever in 10 minutes. And he was like, if you want, we'll come back down in a month and do that again, but like have a lot more songs.
Like
and so
an
we were like,
hour's worth.
okay.
Yeah,
And he was like,
so-
and whatever we make, you guys can keep the money. And so Sophie and I, we learned about an hour's worth of songs and Dad played guitar and we made like $200. So we thought, I mean, we were rich.
You were rich.
We were rich.
Holy
We were
smokes.
like, heck yes.
Sold. Yeah, we were like, okay, we want to do this all the time.
Yeah.
Like, so much fun. I think we went to Opry Mills Mall. I think I bought like a Build-A-Bear.
Literally.
Like, something like
That's
a
what
kid
she
would
bought,
get, you
like
know?
with her money.
Like, hey, I'm rich. I'm going to go to Build-A-Bear.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So we ended up doing that and then coming back home to Indiana and I was like, if that's something you guys like, let's start playing here. And so we did for the first, all through middle school, all through high school, Sophie and I played every weekend at churches, fairs, festivals, weddings,
Anywhere
funerals.
they'd listen. Anywhere.
We
Like, yeah,
literally
lots of
played
funerals.
anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like I love that you're telling that story because it's also not in the same way. But when I was learning to be a speaker,
Yeah.
I would speak at the
She's like, okay, I've given you your moment to tell your life story. Now it's about me again. And this is what I really want to talk about. So as a speaker, I also was on street corners with a guitar case and it would just say, you go girl, you can do it, don't stop, show up. And I made negative $40 because I received a fine and a permit from the city of Los Angeles for panhandling and screaming. So I can also relate, ladies, y'all. And I love how Rachel, I know people are talking about Indiana, if it's Southern or not. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't. She's from Bakersfield, California. I don't consider that the South, but apparently Rachel does. So what do I know? Oh.
the opening of an envelope.
Oh,
like,
yes.
if anyone would let me in the room, I would
Yep.
stand up at people who I remember going to old folks' homes. I remember
Yeah.
going to library.
Oh, yes.
Nobody cared about what I was saying, but that's the only way that you're going to get better and
Yeah.
learn to perform in front of a crowd.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we got paid in barbecue sandwiches for the first
And
8
honestly,
years.
you're
Like,
right, Rachel. Like,
legit.
we learned so much from that. Just
Oh,
like
yeah.
how to entertain a crowd that is just not into it at all, you know?
Yeah.
How
And
do you
just
win
like
them
be like,
over?
you know what? I'm just gonna keep smiling
Yep.
and keep playing
Yep.
the music, you know, even though they didn't care at all. But,
But that is
yeah.
the lesson. It's like you need that moment so that when you get to the bigger stage, you're
Yes.
prepared for anything.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that's when. So we moved to Nashville 8 years ago. We started writing and really immersing ourselves in the community, and I mean, we learned so much from. There's so many talented songwriters here. We just grew so much over that period of time, and now we're putting songs out and just hoping one of them sticks. Like,
Seriously.
and we play. We still travel and play everywhere, which is so fun. We love traveling and playing for fans, and basically doing what we did when we were
Yeah.
little, winning them over, trying to win
Dad
them over.
plays guitar and is tour manager and
Yep.
does
So cool.
everything, drives the van and everything. Yeah.
He's a man of many trades. But yeah, we've just been putting a lot of music out and writing still, and we're just trying to find our spot in the country music world.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got the chance to write together last week, but it was so cool. So every experience, and I know you guys get to do this all the time, but every experience writing with a new group of people is a whole new, you never know, right? Like,
No.
so my first experience writing with a songwriter was so different than working with y'all, was so different than working with who I worked with yesterday. Like, it's different every time.
Yeah.
And that's a world that you've been in for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy because, songwriting is so vulnerable. So you're literally going into rooms. Now, sometimes we write with the same people, but like if you're writing with somebody brand new, you have
like
to walk in and basically pour your heart out
I was
to
like,
them.
it's kind of like a first date.
It
like,
is.
hi,
And a
like,
therapy
how's this gonna
session.
be,
Yes.
Because you
know?
end up saying stuff like the song we ended up writing yesterday was based on something that happened in my life, and I was like, and then he this, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
this, and these other women were like, okay, and what else, and how did that make you feel?
Yeah.
It's a therapy
It
session.
is. It really is.
I wonder what he did and who he is. Dave. Let's listen to the lyrics. And well, I don't know if she has multiple songs or just one, but I don't remember hearing about he in the song lyrics at all, but I guess we'll find out.
I mean, there's been so many times where Sophie and I have like dealt with some kind of relationship thing or and we've literally gone into a room with two guys who know nothing about women and relationships and we're like, this happened to me and then we did this and then I felt horrible for doing this and then he did that and they're like, oh, okay, so we're gonna write about it. Like, yeah,
that actually what you just said was a a great line.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and
You're
then
like,
it kind of
yeah.
gets
but
out,
writing is crazy. It's different with every person you go in the room with. You kind of have to feel their vibe out, and but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's addicting.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's really interesting too. Every single room I'm going into, I'm learning something new. And one of the things I loved, like I had this aha moment in the room with y'all when we were first talking about this idea, which was yours. You're wearing a hat that said the title. You were like, we think this is a song.
Yes.
And then we were sort of toying around and throwing out ideas. And there was a moment where I was like, oh, wait. Oh, you're singing it. Like it didn't, because I'm not a singer, so it didn't make sense in my brain. Like, oh wait, we have to write something that you can actually sing and it be real.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I was like, oh, maybe this is like a letter to my daughter. Like I was thinking about Noah and thinking like, oh, I could write this to her. And then I realized, well, if you, beautiful 27-year-old, get on stage, you're 27, did I just make that up? Get on stage and start, people are gonna be like, what are you talking about? So then we flipped it to being this like moment in the bar where the older woman comes up, which was fun.
Oh, that was fun.
So good.
So whoever, I didn't want to spoil it, but whoever said like this song's gonna be about the old woman from the bar, ding ding ding, you were correct, ma'am, or sir, or they, whichever you identify, you were correct. And also Taro has made an appearance, so she is now gonna be purring into the mic ever so often, and she says hi. He just needs some pets and some loving. Okay, so we're almost nearly to the part where the song's gonna come. So. So I'm excited. These are stories that we've heard of already, now being put into song form. So buckle up, as Rachel would say.
That was a fun one
it's
to
still
write.
like a letter to a younger girl, younger self. But yeah, it is funny. That's something different. That, like,
Especially if you're writing with an artist.
As an artist.
Yeah.
It is like we try and, you know, do something that we would do because obviously we want every song we write to be something we release.
Well, it's funny
you know?
because when we were younger and we came to town, we just wrote about anything and everything. Like it wasn't really from the heart. It was just like, this is a cool idea. And I remember writing songs about drinking beer, and I hadn't even had my
we were like 16 and
we were like 16 and 19.
Yeah.
Like,
And like very good girls.
Yeah.
Like never, no.
we never were like, alcohol, no. Like, that's how we were.
So we had never
Not
like
that anymore,
lived
but
life. We never had our hearts broken.
No.
You know? And that's one of the things like during like 2020, like during the pandemic, I feel like, you know, Ivy went through a lot. We lived a lot of life. In that year, it was really
I think
weird,
everybody did.
But honestly, like after coming out of that, I was like, man, like the stuff we're writing is actually like very authentic to us.
Very
And I was
authentic.
very exciting because I was like,
cool.
Like, this means something.
There was a change because you start writing, when you start writing for yourself, you sing it different. You really do. Like those songs become, like you can notice that like I'm relating to it on stage and it's really coming from the heart when we sing it because, when you're just when you singing like a cover or singing something that, you know, you didn't write for yourself, it's fine, and sometimes those songs blow up and
I am bored. I want to get through this. I want to get to the song already.
do really well.
When we speak our truth, other people see their story inside of it.
For sure.
Because I can't tell you how many times I've loved a song and they're like, oh, I love that song about XYZ.
Yeah.
And then you hear the songwriter or you hear the performer explain what it means to them and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's not at all what I was taking out of this conversation. I thought this was about like losing a love and this was actually about you know, losing your mom.
Yeah.
Like if you right, like think about like Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. Like that song means so many different things depending on who's singing it and what it is to them. So it's been a really rad process. And I'm super pumped that I got to number one, meet you guys.
Yes.
Number two, create something that doesn't suck. 'Cause
Yeah.
you don't always know for sure when you're
Exactly.
coming out.
Well,
like, how's it going to be?
It was awesome for us to write with you because afterwards you gave us a total hype woman speech. It was the best thing
It was
ever.
so good. We needed that.
Literally, we left that right, and Sophie's like, God heard our prayers this morning. We really needed that.
We
Did. You just were like,
and you don't
listen.
even know. Like we did say a prayer that morning. Like Lord, we just need like a little bit of like,
Yeah.
We need to know what to do.
We just so happened to be riding with Rachel Hollis. Like, okay, that was a.
I was like, you cannot come
That
into a
was
room with me and
divine.
have me not be like, okay, where
You're
is
like,
your
I wanna hype
vision
you
board?
up. Yeah.
What are you putting in your journal?
She's such a mom to everybody. Thank you, JB. Okay, let's see. Please buy Sweet Taro some Temptations. Can you say something? Here, say hi. Can you do some purring? How about a little meow? No, she loves meowing, but only when it's not on command. Okay. Now let me grab these sounds, okay? Jeez. Wanting attention. All right, JB, this one's for you.
We have a lot of really great friends from Canada.
We do have a lot of great friends from Canada. Did you know? Oh, I love that one. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Now, inspirational coach Rach is getting her ego just blasted into outer space right now. Hopefully is wrapping, because I cannot take much more of this. I really don't have a problem with the two women who are talking. They seem like they're singers, songwriters, or they're working with songwriters. They're just trying to make their, dreams happen. I have nothing really to say too much about them. I'm more here for the anti-Rachel content. So, maybe I'll look into them just to make sure they're cool, but they seem normal to me. Okay, let's see.
No, because it's real. Because I do think in life and in my career and all the things that I've done, it's about how.
Sorry, we cannot continue until we acknowledge Joms. Thank you for that $5. He or she says, oh, no, I'm late. I saw Mac Attack talk about this earlier. Can we get What a Life soundbite? What a life. What a life? You mean Get a Life? Because I got that one. I don't got What a Life, but I got Get a Life, I think. Yes. Oh. Oops. Whoopsies. What happened? Hold on. Apparently, my whole computer has shut down. No, it hasn't shut down, but it has moved over. Now, okay. Dave's ghost is interfering with my communications network.
Get a life.
There you go.
Get a life.
2 for you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay. Back to this. All right. Thank God. I was worried for a second.
How do you add value in that space? And coming into this, I'm like, okay, I know that I can write because I'm a writer, but I haven't done what any of y'all have done. I can't play the guitar yet. I can't sing ever. I can't do those things. But I was like, what is the value that I bring to this space beyond my ability to write? Because you could sit with anybody, right? Anybody in this town who walks into Warner Chapel can write with you. But I was like, there is something I can bring that nobody else can bring, which is like, I will life coach the out of this moment to literally every person I've written with. I'm like, how's your heart? What's going on? And then, okay, and then what happened? Okay, and what's next? Where are we going from here?
It's very refreshing to do that.
Good. Very nice.
We were like,
very nice.
That was so great.
Good. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys.
She acts like other people don't go, are you okay? How's everything? Or how are you doing? Oh, good. Okay, great. Not everyone needs or wants that. And I guess these women are saying that they did appreciate that she, gave a whole speech. But sometimes I'm just like, I'm good. Thank you, person who's trying to give me, to sell me a planner that says you can do it on it. I'm okay without it. A lot of people, there's like thousands and millions of life coaches now that basically regurgitate the same information that she had just said. So, not impressed. That's not really a rarity skill set that I find very important to have.
For hanging out with
Finally,
us,
we're getting to the song.
Guest performing. Oh wait, I should probably do an intro for it, right, Jack? So we are so excited. It's the first time ever on Rach Talk that we have a live performance of music. This is Walker County doing, what are we calling this song?
I think we did
Bridges You Burn.
Bridges You Burn.
Bridges You Burn. I don't know why I can't use Bridges
You Burn.
This is Bridges You Burn by Walker County. We wrote it together. We hope you guys like it.
Okay, so just to recap, the song is about sort of in the line of like advice for her daughter Noah, who's 5, but I guess when she turns 20, this is the advice as her mother she wants to give her. But instead of her daughter, it's gonna be through the eyes of the woman she bought a shot for. We're just bringing all the stories that we've heard through multiple sources of Rachel's life, and now we're putting it into song form All right, here we go. I don't think it's copyrighted yet. We're going to take the risk. And it's also, I'm changing it in fair use. So, okay, Taro's had enough. She's like, I don't want to hear anything anymore ever again. By Rachel Hollis. Bye. That's what she said. Okay.
She takes the empty bar stool next to me. Says, how you doing, honey? And slides me a shot. She doesn't look a day younger than 73. Dressed head to toe in pink, and we start to talk. She listens to me as I pour my heart out. I should be further along by now. 24's not what I thought. She smiles and says youth is wasted on the young. As if I had a few more trips around the sun. I'd get lost, make mistakes, see the world go now, don't wait.
Okay, so far, this is like this is the main crux of the song because it repeats several times, which I was kind of disappointed in. There's not many verses, which, whatever. I don't know how hard songwriting is. I've never tried it, so who knows? Maybe that's how it goes. But she's like, the woman at the bar is 73. To me, I don't know. I know 73 is on the older side of life, but to me, it's not like 107. It's like, she didn't look like a day older than 73. It's like, okay, well, she's got like 20 years probably if she's healthy of a woman. If I had a couple more trips around the sun, it's like, is this woman decrepit? Like, I don't know. I know I'm being like kind of facetious, but like, it's funny that like 73 was the age of like, it doesn't get older than this. Okay. That's my first point. And then second, it's like, this is the advice that the 73-year-old woman will give to the 24-year-old woman, who I guess is Rachel. Or also she's both characters? Don't know. Not sure. Probably in her world, she is all the characters at all times. But let's go back just a sec. Well, no, we don't have to go back, but it's like, something. It was like all bad advice. It was just like, crash a car into the bank, then swim away, leave every person in their wake, and then get a DUI. Escape from jail when you get caught, and then go find some pot, and then put it in the soup for your children. Like, oh wow, okay, good advice. Thank you so much. Get a knife and murder some people that you don't know, and then pretend that you don't go to jail. I don't know. Okay, the first time was better. All right, let's continue. I'll have better advice once I hear this lyrics again.
Get behind the wheel and drive too fast. Cut my hair, wear that dress, drink too much wine, enjoy the mess, say the things good girls shouldn't say. Let the bridges that I burn life away. She tells me how she left behind a life planned out to find the woman that she is now. She said, now listen to me. Now's the time for taking things a little too far, figuring out who you are before the world tells you who to be. And get lost, make mistakes, see the world.
Okay, that was the first two lines. I'm more familiar. Get lost, make mistakes. Okay, so don't bring MapQuest directions. Make sure you turn down that dark alleyway, 'cause you never know who will be there. That can also be dangerous, but don't listen to that. Just go down there. There's candy there. Like, I don't know. I know I'm being like goofy, but I haven't heard one good piece of advice yet. Get lost, make mistakes, get F's on your report card, babe, because life is all about scamming women. You don't need a degree. Just use google.com and search for free. That's how I built me. I'm Rachel Hollis. Yeah. It's like, oh, I thought this is Walker Country. Oh, no. This is Rachel Hollis' song. The song's called Rachel Hollis, the song. Okay. Call your house cleaner girl, call her sweet, says she cleans your toilets. Make sure you say it twice in 30 seconds, don't be nice. Make sure to turn off everybody. Oh, this is funny. Yeah, does anyone sing? Can I write a spoof song? Drink wine way too much, get behind the car and drive too fast, make mistakes, then get lost and then go to prison. That's basically, if you hear the song in reverse, it's actually how she ends up getting in trouble, canceling herself. Okay, yeah, this song is pretty meh, you know. It's like a self-help book with chapter 1, love yourself first before you find love elsewhere. Like, okay, thank you, appreciate it. I mean, the music's good. I like the beat and stuff, but that has nothing to do with Rachel. So I don't know. It's fine. It's just not that great. I find it in my head though. Like even it's catchy. Okay, let's go. All right, let's go. Freestyle. Ready? Had a girl who said that she was upset about her messy life. She said it on live. I said, just hire a house cleaner to clean your toilets. You don't need to be bothered by that. You got podcasts to make. And then this other girl said, you are unrelatable as F. And I said, you're right, but also, fuck you. So I decided to make a TikTok because I feel like I'm just lost. Harriet Tubman, please light my way. Okay, I'm done. All right.
Like my Little House on the Prairie shirt, Jack?
And then a terrible transition into her just talking about herself once again. Okay, sorry for that. I had to get that off my chest. What if she said that? What if she wrote a song and she's like, Amelia Earhart is my girl, Malal Yousafzai is the world, Harriet Tubman is okay. I met Oprah once or twice, she didn't like my tampon story, well that's okay, because I got mice in my house. Yeah, I have a problem with drinking too much wine, but if you ask me, I was an alcoholic in the past, never in the present, definitely not in the future. Dave Hollis is an ass, Heidi Powell can get past. she can't get past security because she doesn't have her passport. All right, I'm done. Like, for real, I'm done. People were like, all right, I'm out. Okay. Thank you very much. My tip jar, my open guitar is open on the floor, yet this was a digital performance, so it shall remain empty. But anytime we want to sing, we want to do songs together, I'm down for it. Okay, now she's going to finish it up, and she's going to talk about her shirt and how she actually bought a new shirt despite her rule of only buying used, thrifted vintage, which we already knew was like bullshit. And she's going to say like, well, I didn't mean to buy this because I was just trying to be cute for Rach Talk. She wears like random stuff to Rach Talk. She acts like she has to have a certain wardrobe for it. I'm glad people are finding my songs funny. And now she's going to just, talk about her sustainability bullshit. Anyway, okay, we're almost done.
So my whole thing is that I don't buy new clothes. So I went to the store downstairs and I bought it so that I would then return it. That was my idea. I just didn't have anything cute. All I have is like band tees, and I didn't feel like that was like Rach Talk cute. Clearly, look, I have my Vans on, Jack. I have my Vans on and I'm about to like go to the prairie. But I thought it was like cool and different and whatever. And then my whole plan was just to return it. Is that maybe rude? But like my whole thing, I don't want to buy new clothes, but I sweat in it. I can't return it because I sweat in it, which means I broke my own rule and I didn't mean to. I was thinking maybe I could like donate something. Maybe I could plant a tree. I feel really bad actually. But I just want to look cute. And if I was just wearing my like, I feel really bad. I feel so bad. Yeah, it looks like it. Nirvana shirt, which is pretty freaking cute. Weirdly, I never get hit on more in life ever than when I'm wearing that Nirvana shirt. What do you think that is? You know what I got today? I'm not sure if it's a pickup line, but I want to pretend that it is because I thought it was like kind of interesting. I was waiting for a table at breakfast this morning. I mean, looking like, can I tell you? Okay, we're going to talk about this in her next podcast also, but this is like humble brag Rachel 101. How to explain that she is just naturally radiating from the inside because she looked like crap on the outside. She was just like in her loungewear at this luxury hotel. We have to make sure that it's a luxury hotel, okay? We all know she does not go to the Best Western, okay? She is luxurious. She has to make sure that you know that it wasn't because she tried. She doesn't try to be attractive. She just is attractive. And now she's going to talk about all the men that just are in love with her. It has nothing to do with her trying to make her boo jealous because he doesn't care really what she does. That's my thoughts. But let's see what she says about her getting hit on constantly by men, adoring fans that just want to be with Rachel. As a side note, I am wearing one right now. I basically just don't wear bras anymore. I am trying with everything in me to get away in life with wearing a bra as little as possible. And not in a cute, like, oh, I'm 22 and I'm sexy, but like I'm 39 and I want to be comfortable. Legitimately this morning, I'm at a nice hotel, went down to breakfast, threw a jacket on over my pajama shirt, which was very thin. Thank you, Stella Black. Hands doing the sign of the horns with sparkles around it. Love you, rooting for you. That's just what I want to do. I'm Rachel Hollis, buy my shit. Yeah. Thanks, Stella. I appreciate it. All right, she's going to talk about how poorly she looked, but how amazingly hit on she got. I was like, if this jacket were to be ripped from my person, or like I did a good morning stretch or something, people are going to see things they don't want to see. I was like on my phone, and this guy walked by, and he was like, "Are you from New Orleans?" And I was like, "No, I'm not." He said, "Oh, you look just like a girl in New Orleans." And I was like, I had nothing for him. I had no response to that. And I didn't know if I really looked like a girl in New Orleans or if this was a line. You think it was a line? Definitely. What would I have said to make it? See, I don't have any game. And I'm not trying to have game. I'm very much in love. I'm taken.
The next part is very important. They're going to take you.
Well, that's what she thinks. I don't know if that's true, but, you know, it ain't my relationship. Ain't my boo. That's up to you, Rachel. But I don't know. Yeah, I think it might be a little bit more open than closed than she realizes. But that's just my own 2 cents. Nothing from, you know, I don't know any insider info. Just by guessing, based on her own stories, that she thinks she's taken. He thinks that he's spending some time with a friend out in Texas.
Genuinely shut down. Have I talked about this on the show? When guys try and talk to me, I shut down like a robot. I think I did. Did I tell you about getting on the plane and I got separated from Boo? I didn't tell this story? Okay, so this is so dumb. I'm getting on a plane and Boo and I were flying together. I don't remember where, but he ended up, someone got in front of, and so he was like 2 people behind, or maybe 1 person behind. And the guy behind me, I have no game. And when I think a man is actually flirting, I am so uncomfortable, I don't know what to do. Because I never went out, I never like had bar life, I didn't do those things. So I have this bag, this tote bag, that the front of it looks like almost like a face. This guy behind me is like, ooh, why is your bag so angry? I was like, I was like, I don't know. And behind me, my boyfriend is behind this guy and he's like legitimately crying. Cause he's watching this guy try and flirt with me and watching me he was like, the guy, I like got to my seat and then like the guy carried on and Boo sat next to me and he's just like, that was the most precious and also most embarrassing thing I have ever seen. And I was like,
I don't understand anything about this story. The logistics do not make sense. She was in the front. Her boyfriend was 2 rows behind, or maybe 1 row behind, but probably 2 rows because that's what she said at first. And then the guy walking by said, "Why is your bag so angry?" Which is kind of, I don't know, that's kind of funny if the bag has a face on it. And he's like, "Oh, why is your bag so angry?" Like, "Oh, because it's heavy." I don't know, something stupid. Be like, "Oh, thanks." Yeah, I know, right? Like, that's all you really say in those situations. And somehow her boyfriend is witnessing this whole thing 2 rows behind or 1 row behind and is crying and also saying, then comes up, how now is there a seat next to her? All of a sudden, there's a seat next to her all of a sudden? Like, that doesn't make sense. That just opened up randomly. And now he's saying, oh, that was precious and also embarrassing. I don't get it. Well, I don't know. I don't get it.
This is why, like, if you were ever worried that I was going to go out in the world and, like, flirt, you just saw, I have nothing. And there must have been something going on with my pheromones that day because legitimately, like, 5 minutes later, you know, people are getting on the plane. Boo's in the window, but he was, like, working on something, and then I'm in the aisle seat because I have to pee, like, 80 times on a flight. So
I feel like she just said that. She's like, Boo's in the window. Now it's the same flight or something, and now the seating is different. It doesn't make any sense. The story is fake. But then she's like, oh, Boo's in the window. And then I feel like as soon as she said that, she goes, well, because I always have to pee 50 times. Like, that's why he's in the window. That's why I didn't need the window. Like, he's still a gentleman, guys. He's still a British. In England, like, it's customary for women to sit on the aisle, not in the window. It wasn't because he doesn't love me, okay? He just texted me 5 minutes ago. Look, he just texted me and said he loves me, okay? Is this a real relationship? Just believe me, okay? I feel like maybe that's just me reading into it too much, but that's how it comes across. Like, well, that's why I was in the aisle. Okay, don't think anything. He loves me so much.
So I just always take the aisle, and a guy stops Jack next to me to talk to me. I was like, what is going? Am I wearing my Nirvana shirt? Like, what is happening right now? It had to be my heart. Like, pheromones had to be pumping because I was like, I do not know what about me right now is doing it for these men, but okay. And a guy stopped and, like, started chatting me up in the seat. And this time I was bound and determined to, like, do it right, because now I know Boo's paying attention, and this is twice that a man's flirted with me in front of him in less than 10 minutes. You know, I'm like trying to be like, okay, but also I'm desirable. This guy is like, he starts chatting me up, and it was when we still wore masks on planes, and he's like, oh, your mask is better than mine. And I was like, first of all, it was the dumbest like way to talk to somebody, but I'm like, at this point, I'm about to make this the greatest exchange ever because Boo's watching. He's like, keeps talking, like past the point where I'm like, we've said all we came to say today, sir. I've proved a point to my boyfriend. And the guy was like, I bet it's pretty annoying when like dudes come up and like try and talk to you at your seat. And I was like, yeah, it is. Because again, I don't have game, and I was just like, please stop. It was all a big mess. It was a big mess. All right, guys, thank you so much.
Enjoy the mess. That's your own lyric, Rachel. Enjoy the mess. I'm still confused. Okay, someone explain it. I'm still confused. I thought he was sitting 2 rows behind. I don't know. Doesn't matter. And then, like, the second thing is, you know, your mask is better than mine. I don't know. That's, like, kind of flirty, I suppose. But the problem with that exchange is, like, oh, she wanted to make the boyfriend jealous, the Boo thing jealous. That's the immature part. Like, if you want to have a conversation with a woman or a man or anything, well, first of all, she's, like, assuming a lot that this guy likes her or something. I don't know. It could just be someone trying to be friendly. You know, that could be it. Not every man is a hound dog trying to get in your pants, especially on a plane. I don't know. Sometimes they might be, but not everyone. It's not a rule of thumb. Like, every man is just trying to sleep with you at all times. It could just be trying to, like, pass the time. Like, okay. Oh, my mask is better. Your mask is better. I don't know. Whatever. And who knows what the mask said? Maybe it had, like, I don't know. Who cares? I'm looking much too much into this. But the fact that she wants to make the boyfriend jealous is just immature. Go to therapy, learn how to have a healthy relationship in which you don't have to play games with your partner. Okay? That's my 2 cents on that one. And basically that's all of Rach Talk. That took a lot. We had songs, we had, you know, boyfriend stories, we had an interview. That was quite a lot to handle. But we're not done yet. Should we stick with Rachel for now, or should we jump and go to Heidi and Dave? What are we feeling? We feeling a jumpy poo, or we feeling Rachel all the way and then Dave and Heidi? Dave and Heidi are just messy. They're just messy individuals. And I mean that. Let's go to Dave for a second, because this is the breaking news of the day. Dave is back. And I guess he's got stories now too. Yes, I was blocked. This is my Finsta account. Judge, who will see this and review this case later. Okay, so let's take a look. I haven't read this actually. I saw the post. I did not read it because I was about to jump in the shower and get ready for this live. So this will be a live react, everybody. And let's just recap. Dave was gone from the internet 13 weeks. That is what? How long is 13 weeks? 2 months is 8, so he's gone for 4 months. So in the grand scheme of things, I mean, that's like 20 years in the Hollis universe, but, you know, in the normal world, 4 months is like Lent. You know? Okay, let's see. I'm seeing Rach, break from Rachel. Yeah, let's take a break from Rachel for a second. We'll go back because I think I really need to listen to that podcast about her giving advice to 20-year-olds because it is so ridiculous and crazy. But I'm also interested in this dumpster fire too. So without further ado, 606 comments, 11,000 likes. So he's back, baby. His fans are salivating at the thought of Dave becoming back to the internet, or coming back to the internet. Okay. There's his, like I said, there's his go-kart. Every time I feel bad for Dave or Heidi or Rachel, I'm like, this is their property that they own. Like, I'm the dummy, you know, it's like struggling here. They are living life, even though they create their own problems. Oh my gosh, look, we just happen to be in the same place at the same time. Oh my gosh. All right. And comments are on. Okay, so we can read a couple of comments. I'm sure they're going to be like, we missed you so much. We need your advice, strongman Dave. Okay. Yeah, and he's been on Heidi's account for the last, like, month. So, you know, it's not like we haven't seen his face every 5 seconds, but this is his own account. Here we go. Hi, friends. It's been a minute. Messy. They all have messes that they've created themselves. Okay. A messy, wonderful, hard, human minute. Shut up. Okay. I mean, I love learning and growth, but dang it if I'm not a glutton for learning things the hardest ways possible. Usually tripping over my own feet. I hate him. Okay, I'm sorry. I already said that about Rachel. I also hate Dave, if that wasn't clear. Nevertheless, I'm here. Stronger, boozeless. That's good. And more sane. Grateful for it all happening as it did. Not on the other side, but out of the darkest parts. For now, student, not teacher. Back at the base of the mountain. Better prepared to climb, moving slowly. Okay, well, he claims he's not teacher, but we'll see how long that lasts. Because he's part of the challenge for Heidi's Get Fit, and his picture is like on some of the manuals, which is like Teacher Dave, so... Okay, whatever. To be clear, I'm also still a mess, as I've always been. Okay, it's quite the admission there. As I've always been, just less of one than I was, owning it. Okay, I guess. Why'd you write a self-help book about how amazing you are? But 2 of them, actually, but okay. Knowing now, peace and self-love come by embracing my humbling humanness. Oh, Jesus Christ. What sentence is that? Knowing now, peace and self-love come by embracing my humbling humanness. That does not make sense. And yeah, being human sucks at times. As opposed to what, Dave? Being a fairy? I don't know, an ethereal goddess? Like, what other experience do you have other than being human? I hate that. Human, he's used the word human like 15 times. Like, as if, like, I hate this when people get canceled or people get in trouble for doing something stupid. They're like, I'm human. It's like, yeah, we all are. The humans are the ones who are criticizing you too. I don't know. Okay. So what's happened since we last saw each other? Well, first of all, Dave has never seen any one of his followers, because this is a platform in which you post and then you get feedback. You don't actually see anybody. Oh, this is the perfect time to play my new soundbite.
Turns out you can have a full life without putting it all on social media.
But we're going to put it on social media anyways, of course. So what's happened since last we saw each other? Everything. Nothing. The spectrum. Oh, Albanese. Get a life, pancake emoji. Yep, that is Dave Hollis in a nutshell.
Get a life. Get a life. Get a life.
If you say it 3 times, it means it happens. That's universal law, the law of 3. So now it's definitely going to be true. Thank you very much for that. Okay, let's continue. The spectrum. But when I got an itch to come back to social, I was surprised by the feelings. So he just needs the validation is what we're talking about. Choosing pics became a thing. The one of Jack driving... Oh, Jack! Wait, what? Jack? Jack? That Jack? I have to go over... Wait, can you see it? No, it's too high. I have to go over I have to go over Darrow to push the buttons now. You're not making this easy, kitty.
Jack.
Okay. Was not satisfying now. Okay, she really wants pets. What is your problem? Huh? You trying to bite me? You meanie. I think she's hungry. Okay. The one of Jack driving me for the first time. What? Okay. I don't know. I think does he mean his son who's not named Jack? Did he get his son's name wrong or something? The one of Jack driving me for the first time, my last visit with Grandma Lee, my crew at Sawyer's game or Noah's recital. I've got shots where I look fit, tan, and okay. Let's read this again. The one of Jack driving me for the first time. I don't know what that means. My last visit with Grandma Lee. Like his last, so if you didn't know this, he said the Grandma Lee, who just turned 100, is got like a bad prognosis. So the last time, meaning like his last time, like the most recent time, or like the last time ever, because she's like on her way out. My crew at Sawyer's game or Noah's recital. I've got shots where I look fit, tan, and happy with Heidi. Ones that make sure you see how great a dad I am. Dinner tables showing off cool friends, and I realize it made me feel like it did before. Me trying to convince you that I'm good, or at least better than I probably am. Okay, yeah, everyone that was a hater on you said that stuff before. All the haters were like, we don't need you to be like this, Dave. This is like not who you really are. It's obvious that you're struggling. Like, just be honest. He's like, no, this is me. This is how I am. I've been built through courage. I'm going to lie to everybody. That you did this to yourself. I don't get it. I mean, it's annoying. Okay. Not ready. So here's a shot of me fishing. Okay, well, you're pretty far away from the lake there, Dave. I don't believe you know how to fish. An imperfect mess on an afternoon where slowing down gave way to peace. Oh, so no more rocks in Arizona? Just sides of the pond? Okay. The thing is, I want my cake and want to eat it too. Yes, you do. I want to protect my mental health and stay connected to a community that has been by my side through everything. Foster care and adoption, leaving Disney, building a rocket, celebrating its flight. Wait, what? Building a rocket? When the fuck did that happen? Has he channeled Elon Musk or something? Is he Jeff Bezos? Jeff Bezos Finsta? I don't know what he's talking about. Oh, wait. I don't know. Please explain. Please explain. Okay, foster care and adoption. We know that. Leaving Disney. Okay. Building a rocket. That's where I fall off course. Celebrating its flight. Don't know what that is. Mourning it breaking apart. Is he talking about the Columbia tragedy? Like, what is he talking about? Rachel and his marriage is a rocket? Okay. Weathering the disappointment as it fell back to earth. This is too symbolic for me. This is over my head. I'm a very lowbrow person. I need it to be spelled out for me. Dave's point of view, his language, his cadence, everything is over my head. I think most and over his own, but he doesn't care. Okay. Y'all were supportive as I rebuilt. Tried to outrun that pain, even as I couldn't see that it was the running rather than facing that would lead to another dismantling. Bless. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. This is Chinese to me. I don't know what this is saying. Cake idea. Slice. I don't know. Cake slice emoji idea. Okay. I'm gonna tend to me for a bit away from here. Well, with some occasional fun on friends' pages. But hope the link in bio to my email, podcast, or safe private community. Okay. Here we go. But hope the link in bio to my email, podcast, or safe private community create opportunities for me to do both. Healing me and connect with you. Okay, so the safe private community now that he's pretending exists is Heidi's booty workout challenge. Oh boy. Heidi is behind this, or he's behind this with Heidi being benefited by it. Okay, he's got stories now. Let's see the stories before we go to the bio. Okay, just that. Okay, boring. Let's stay connected outside of social, because Dave, as he said.
Turns out you can have a full life without putting it all on social media.
And yet here we are, back to social media. Okay, let's see. MrDaveHollis.com. Uh-oh. This probably is going to give me some sort of virus, too. Oh, God. Special message from Dave? Oh, he's doing his little thing. Let's see, just for a second.
Is this thing on?
Oh, God.
Hello, friends, you beautiful people from the internet. It has been some time, and I wanted to say hello and tell you that, number one, I'm doing well. Still good days and bad, that's the way life is, but I just am so grateful for what has been an...
Okay, does this or does this not sound like he's sending a voicemail to an ex-girlfriend that's blocked him like 1,000 different ways, and he's found a new phone and is calling her once again just to give updates that she's never asked for? Just me? Okay.
Overwhelming amount of support that you have provided in the craziness of these last handful of months for me. It has been one of the most important windows of my life, being in some ways forced by my own actions to slow way down, starting back in so many ways from scratch, from scratch, wherever you start, because I'm learning, sometimes in the hardest ways possible, that you cannot outrun the things that you have not yet processed. You cannot outrun grief. You can't outrun unprocessed feelings. You can't
What is this? This is like unhinged behavior. I'm sorry. Like, first of all, the audio is god awful. Like, get a freaking phone that has a speaker that works or a microphone. My God. You have thousands of dollars of equipment at your house. I saw it. Get a microphone to match. What is this for? Who is this for? All this is like him saying like, oh, this is his same thing. Wait, this is a little different. Oh, now he's talking about rockets and co-pilots. Oh, lordy. We're going to get a third book. Built through rockets. My flight to space and back to Earth. Dave Hollis. Is this thing on? One-time New York Times bestseller. It was a fluke.com. I don't even want to listen to this whole thing because I hate listening to him. Okay, I don't know. This is what it says. Okay, that's really good. I'ma keep some healthy space from social for a bit and am bringing it on email. Feels right and actually a little more personal, TBH. We're basically one-way pen pals when you drop your email here. Do you know on social media, it's also one-way street, Dave? It's a one-way street there as well. So he's just trying to build his email list. So when he sells his stupid course next, you know, that'll be easier to sell to because we're all going to be on his email. And I will be signing up for this so I can join the cringe, I suppose. And of course, the baby got back glute program is front and center with this poor squirrel with a peach emoji, which is just something to behold. The link is there. And then we got the Rise Together. Every Thursday, a new episode comes out where I'm unpacking thoughts from a run or interviewing a guest. If you ever wonder what's been up in my life, a recent show usually doubles as catch-up. You must try hard to come up with puns. Okay. Okay, here's the safe space. This is so misleading and dangerous and horrible and stupid that they're branding. So he's saying like, okay, so let's just put this in perspective for a second. He just posted after 13 weeks of being gone, right? Because he was in alcohol treatment, which I think is a wonderful thing that he went to do. I don't necessarily think he's following the steps that he probably should be following from now on, but who's to say? Maybe he is. But he went to rehab because he's got an alcohol problem. And He's now come back on social media and said, like, I'm not ready to go back on social media quite yet because I'm still working on myself. I still have a lot of like mental health stuff to work on, rocket ships, fishing, whatever else is fluff in between. But that's the core of what he's saying, that he needs more time. So you should go follow him on his private safe group. Okay, the private safe group that he's referring to is Heidi's Baby Got Back glute program that costs $200 at the least and $4,000 at the most. This is insanity. They are playing with fire here, and they should take a step back because this is misleading and definitely supposed to be attracting vulnerable people who also want a safe space to be, that think social media is toxic, which it is, but the way that they're selling this, it's a workout program with a Facebook group. They're selling it as if this is going to help your mental health and provide you a safe space. This is sick and wrong. This is what it says. This is my safe space online and the only place I plan interact in social media for a bit because of how it pours positively into me and every other person every single time. I would love to see you and give you a virtual hug there. They're manipulative as fuck, and it bothers me. This is so sick and disgusting. This is the type of stuff that I'm saying, like, is not okay. Like, brand what it is, like, sell your shit, whatever you want to do. I'm not against, you having a booty squirrel workout, but then don't mislead people and say, oh, this is like where we kumbaya and like we can like give you free therapy and I'm gonna give you a hug and every single person that joins is loving and caring and was gonna support you. Like, I could join right now and just pulverize an entire group. Just be like, you all suck, you are all horrible. Who's gonna stop me? I could do it manipulatively, like, oh, you're so sweet, but too bad you're like this and this and this. Who's gonna stop me? Nobody. I paid to be there. You can't promise people, oh, we're gonna give you love and friendship. That's so ridiculous, and it's so sick and disgusting that people do this. Like Dave. Okay, I'm gonna put myself in Dave's spot. Hi, I'm Dave. Okay, so a lot of this is the same, but then this part's a little different. The second, so this part is just what we just read in the Instagram post. This one says, the second paragraph, thank you for the extraordinary and consistent support that's been a co-pilot with me all along the way. Co-pilot. Okay, we switched symbolisms. Your notes and prayers were a constant reminder of how much I've always valued this extraordinary community. And in a world where the continued pursuit of putting my mental health first, will keep space from social media from some time to come. I miss this community and hope we can stay connected in one of the ways above. Sending you my very best. Wow. Wow, Dave. This is a new low for you. This is a new low even for you. To try to get people to come to Heidi's Get Fit Challenge to be safe on the internet. This is a nightmare. I'm sorry. Okay, well, how about, since we're on Dave and Heidi, let's go to Heidi. She had a scandal. I have the video, so we can play. Okay, let me just set the scene here. Heidi has been promoting, as we talked about last week, she's been promoting this Get Fit Challenge. Like I said, it costs $4,000 if you want a fanny pack and go to a mastermind for one day. And $200 to start the funnel and to be, upsold in a bunch of ways. So she's been posting a lot more than per usual because she's trying to get people to start, buy into her event or her, whatever, her challenge that she calls a challenge, but she also says should it be called a challenge? I don't know. So anyway, she made a bunch of posts. Oh, thank you, JL. Your sense of humor is the best. I'm happy to see your channel grow, and I'm rooting for you, but not in a Rach fake way. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh my God. This is for you.
We're best friends.
You and me, Jay.
We're best friends.
And I'm assuming
I am not emotionally stable.
That's just a warning from me to you. I'm not emotionally stable. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so she posted a bunch this week, like a ton, like 1 million interviews and, booty shots and more of her children and whatever is going to attract people to her page, she's going to post it this week because she really wants people to be hooked on to her shtick. But this one was the most concerning. Now, this is a recut version that she decided that was so important to post that she was going to cut the part out that was concerning to a lot of people and repost. For what reason? I don't know. Basically, she forced her son to be in this video, and I guess the daughter wanted to be in it, and they were making a little TikTok. But of course, the star of the show is Heidi, as you can see, the person who's standing front and center, dancing so silly. And her daughter does a little dance that her butt is facing the camera, and she's doing a little like little kids do, shake your booty, shake your tail, like a duck thing. But it's the internet. This is a public page. People are disgusting out there. This is not a new thing. Cyber safety is yeah, okay. I'm talking about cyber safety. Do you want to come up again? Are you mad at me? What's going on? I think she's hungry. And she's whatever. She posted it. A lot of people, and I think even a lot of her fans were like, I don't know if this is the best thing for you. I don't know if this is the best video for you to post. And she was like, people are disgusting. It's everyone else's problem, blah, blah, blah. It's not me. It's everyone else. And it's okay. So she recut it. It's just and then people are like, oh, it doesn't even make sense anymore. I'm not going to play the song because it's copyrighted, but this song doesn't even make sense. This is the length that she wants to go to. I don't know. I don't get it. And she said in her last post too, she's basically that she had to convince her son to participate by giving him more tech time, and that he didn't want to be around. He didn't want to be involved, but she forced him to do this because I don't know what. And then she had to edit it, and then it doesn't, I don't know. This was her first scandal. I don't really want to show their kids too much because I feel like they've gone through enough and they're going to have to, deal with a lot of issues moving forward in their life. So let them off the hook again before they, I don't know. It just shows how she uses people. She has a weird sense of oh, this is content that's worthwhile or anything. I don't know. That was just the one thing. So let's listen to Dave and Heidi's explanation of their relationship, that they've broken up. They if you remember, they said that they were just friends. They are not able to be together anymore because they need to work on each other separately. But Dave is literally back in Arizona. They've spent 1 day apart. She tried to go to Mexico to see him, didn't work out. He flew to Arizona. Then she flew to Texas 2 days later. Now he's back in Arizona. They spent no time apart. So they're full of shit. And before we move on, let's see. Oh, let's just take a look-see of just a few. She's very present with her family. She's like, I'm so present with my family. I'm never on the internet. 27,000 Instagram stories later, I beg to differ. Okay, more booty shots, of course. Okay, more people. Oh, Danielle, our breathwork goddess. She's going to take over. And, oh, there's Dave and Heidi. They're both back. He's in the advertising again. Oh, yeah, they're really spending time apart. He's really working on himself. Okay, more team stuff. That's her kids. Kids. She's always making fun of her son. She's like, oh, I don't know if this is the style, or this is he needs bigger pants, or if this is the style. I have other stuff that I'm going to kind of put together at some point where she makes fun of her son Cash a lot. It's sad to see. Okay, she's talking about, this is her new shtick now, is to call, it's Saturday. She's like, happy Monday. She's really trying to get that engagement, I think. Oh, I don't know what day it is. I care too much about my team. Okay. She's going insane. Okay. Oh, yeah. These are the programs.
Number of resources. I'm telling you guys, these are all these are thick, packets. Look at this. We have workout logs. We have start here guide, literally how to build a meal. Look how many There's
I don't know about you, but when I watched this story earlier, I was like, this looks like the thinnest booklet I've ever seen. It's like 5 pages, and most of the pages aren't even filled. Like, if I actually wanted to convince people that you're getting a lot of value, I would have never shown the actual pages like this. It makes it look like there's nothing there, to me, personally.
so much available. And what's so cool is in all of our workout programs, here they are. All of these are available online as well. This is just, I printed them out so I could show people while I'm going live. But we also
Also, I just think the fact that she's on every page is just like such a narcissistic move. Like, you gotta put yourself on every single page. Like, I know it's your challenge, but like, you have a team of people that are supposedly helping and like, you know, doing nutrition and stuff. But no, it's her in the kitchen, like with a carrot, like, you know, or like her on the beach with her booty popping, you know, it's fine. I just find it interesting that she found it necessary to be on every single cover of all these booklets or whatever she's talking about. And then also she's showing them off on her stories.
Explain, and we drop these at certain times after we've had a chance to educate.
Oh, sorry.
You don't even know. You do not even know. If you're in it, you know. You got to come in.
Like I have a frown at all times. It feels very on brand.
I look like I'm storing nuts in my teeth, my cheeks. Why do I have to? Dang.
You might have a mom.
What is happening? What are they doing? What does this have to do with anything? Oh, watch me and my boyfriend play a game for $200. Oh, wait, he's not my boyfriend. He's actually a friend of mine. I don't get it. And of course, oh yeah, it's Mother's Day. Buckle up, as Rachel would say. There's going to be nonstop posting about how amazing she is as a mother. She can do no wrong. Okay, let's get to the podcast. So let me go back for a second. We're going to hear the juicy podcast that, you know, Dave and Rachel. No, Dave, we're talking about your podcast, aren't you? Okay. No, I'm talking about Rachel Hollis. Okay, that's what goes on my brain all day long. It's like not even. Let's switch it up. As you can see, I was listening to Beyonce. So on brand. Okay. This is, I'm back to cringe talk. Cool. Very fitting. All right. This is, are you prioritizing you? Now, I will warn you. This is the most words per 38 minutes with the least bit of content that I probably ever heard in my life. The most disappointing tea that you could possibly probably ever hear. They're broken up, ? They say that they're broken up, and that the thing here let me just gather my thoughts. The thing that I think is important here is that Heidi does not seem to be a supportive partner or even friend. Now, I want to preface by saying that, of course, it's not easy to support somebody or to, I don't know, like, you're going to be inconvenienced. Like, for example, this is a personal anecdote. Like, when my dad would go, you know, he has battled mental illness his whole life. He's got bipolar disorder. You know, several, probably 10 times throughout my childhood, he had to go seek inpatient medical treatment because it got bad. He had an episode and he had to go. Like, yeah, that inconvenienced me. But a million times over, I would never, ever, ever want it to be any other way. He needed to be there, and I supported him 100%. I was a kid also, so, you know, whatever, that's probably a factor. But my mom was the same way, where it was like, no, that's where you need to be. We'll figure out all the other stuff. Don't feel bad for a second. There's no guilt. There was no, like, well, you know, I'm okay with it, I guess, but, like, you know, I'm pissed about it. There was none of that. And I think that's how it should be. In this podcast, to me, it shows that she really wants him to suffer because he inconvenienced her by going to rehab. That was the vibe I got, and I feel like a little bit bad for Dave. You know, I don't feel bad for Dave because look what his website looks like, so I take all my feelings back of feeling bad. But in this piece of content specifically, the podcast, I did feel bad for him. I thought it was like very rude of her to say the things that she says. Oh, Tarot's college fun. Thank you, Leah Grace. I'll have to get a Tarot clip, a soundbite, to play Tarot when she's not actually here. For that, let's play a new clip. I don't know what this one is. It says, okay.
It's okay to cry.
There you go. Just that's my 2 cents for the day. That's my advice. And here's the next one. But it's okay to cry, but also,
I am not emotionally stable.
just keep that in mind. Okay. And also, he talks about, he mentioned he's boozeless. So he's sort of tiptoeing into the I'm an alcoholic territory, but he's not saying it. Like a lot of, he's not saying he's going to AA meetings. He's not saying that he's working the program. He's not talking about being an alcoholic. So he's sort of beating around the bush about what his issues were. He doesn't mention it, I don't think, at all in this podcast. And I just find it to be missing the point a little bit. He refers to, and here's the poem I'll tell you. Timmy takes a tumble, Dave Hollis takes a stumble. By Dave Hollis, a life story, a follow-up, and a revision of Built Through Courage. Okay, let me just get to it. I'm ready. Are you ready? Yes, let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Rise Together podcast. My name is Dave. I am looking directly into the eye, well, through a screen, of one of my favorite human beings. Heidi Powell is here. Heidi Lynn, nice to see you.
Hi.
As a part of the journey of 2022, there has been so much that I did not expect to learn in this journey of slowing down, stepping back, prioritizing myself and the work that was necessary for me to continue taking steps toward becoming a more whole human being. But one of the things that came up that I think is interesting for this audience is that sometimes you have to, in the pursuit of doing what is best for you, take a step into that, even though you know or don't know that it is going to be inconvenient or potentially hurt the people that you love the most in deciding to do it. And
oh my God. He could have said that in 17,000 better ways, but yet decided to take the longest route possible. He decided to take the scenic route to make that statement. Basically, I think what he meant by that was that, to get to the other side of getting better or taking care of your issues, sometimes you're going to inconvenience people along the way, I guess, is my best interpretation of that nonsensical sentence structure.
Back at the beginning of the year, to go into treatment, to do so just as we were about to launch the next of our fitness challenges, the decision to do it even though it was going to put a whole host of work on you and inconvenience you. I mean, certainly it inconvenienced every single person that I care most about in my life. It's still a thing that I would do over again, that I am so grateful for having made the choice to do. But I don't know that you ever really get to hear the other side of the person who has been inconvenienced or who has potentially been hurt by that choice.
I really don't understand this premise at all. Like, I know they're setting it up to like, oh, it inconveniences people when they go to rehab and you never get to hear from those people. It's like, yeah, because healthy relationships, people should support those decisions. That's hard. It's like me saying like, Steven is upset that I take the car to go to therapy twice a week. Like, yeah, it's really annoying. I can't stand it. It's like, no, he goes, whatever you need, we'll figure it out. That's, I think, a supportive partner. Like, you're telling me you need to go to therapy for these reasons. I support you in your decisions. If I need to help you and I can, I will. And I would do the same for him. To me, that's a normal and a good, healthy relationship. Like, oh, you never get to hear from the people who are pissed off that you're seeking help for yourself. Yeah, because they shouldn't exist. There shouldn't be something to be putting on a pedestal in any way, in my opinion.
Even if it ended up being the right one. And so I think this is a good idea. This may be a terrible idea because I don't know what you're going to say, but I am interested to open up this space for a conversation to understand a little bit of how the sequence of events also was felt by you, who, by the way, was just the most supportive person and I mean the most supportive person in the decision to work on myself and take time away and everything else, but also ultimately had to carry a whole host of responsibilities for this thing that I love. I mean, I love what exists inside this community, and I love these challenges, and I hate, and I mean hate, disappointing people, certainly people that I care for, and I did both in kind of.
To me, this just means he's not through it yet. He's like, he said, oh, I'm a work in progress. Like, yes, that's true, but you're farther away from understanding even this situation. Like, oh, I can't stand disappointing people. If you're an alcoholic and you realize that and need help to get that taken care of, that's not an inconvenience to anybody. You're helping them in the long run by getting yourself better, by getting yourself sober, by understanding your mental health. I don't understand where this is coming from at all. The fact that, like, well, it worked out for the best, but, like, you know, my girlfriend had to, like, post some more booty pics from her challenge by herself. It's like, why was he even involved in that in the first place? Dave has no fitness experience whatsoever. He was, like, thrown into this because she didn't want to do it alone. She should just get over this. I don't know. She's got a whole team of people who can help her too. What was Dave even doing? I don't even know what his role in this is. Just going on live streams? Like, I think Heidi can handle that herself. And of course she's like, I worked the hardest of anyone that's ever lived. I had to put my laptop on a cardboard box and talk about myself. It's like, it's the same as Rachel. Like, oh my God, like, being on video is so difficult. Like, this is a gift. The fact that this, like, makes me any money at all is a gift and of shock. You know, if I had to go work in a field or work at a gas station or any of those things that are totally great and amazing and meaningful jobs in life, then I could be like, okay, life is hard. This is tough. But this, what they're doing, talking on a fucking podcast, that is like the most luxurious life you could possibly have. And they're making money from it? Come on. I can't. These people drive me insane. And he's talked, I haven't heard Heidi say anything but, hi, since 2 minutes ago.
Away. And so we tee it up right there.
What always agree with every.
Heidi, how do we even dive into this? Because, I mean, obviously so many things have happened. And I think on the other side of it, we have such appreciation for all of the good that ended up coming out of all of the hard. But it wasn't an acute appreciation for the good every single day during the journey.
Yeah, I actually think the idea to have this.
I'm sorry. That was a stupid ass sentence. I just had to say that.
Podcast or discussion was just to have people, like you said, who might be in similar situations understand both sides of it, because it was super interesting for me. And just to clarify, the decision was made after the challenge started, right? So we had committed to something which took a lot of effort on both of our parts, but even before it started, we could kind of feel it was going that way. And I was, like you said, I was super supportive and actually encouraging of a decision. And I think, I mean, most people in my situation, when they have a loved one who might need help with something, it's their dream to have the loved one be like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Right. So I knew right away how lucky I was to have you be so on board and so in to improve yourself, because, you know, the pain of remaining the same exceeded the pain of any change. And we know that true change cannot happen in any way in life if your pain of remaining the same does not exceed the perceived pain of change. And for you, living as you were and seeing things crumble like one at a time was painful for you. And
I thought that was such a dig at him, and I don't want to be like misogynist or repressed misogynist or whatever by saying this, but bitch move. Can you imagine just being on a podcast with someone who has just gone through rehab, who, you know, it's her choice to take a step back from him if she wants, or like get rid of him as a relationship, you know, whatever. But she's choosing to stay in this relationship with him, whatever form it may take. You know, he's in Arizona now. being with her, helping her with this challenge or whatever. And she's going to say on this podcast, oh, you know, you were watching your life crumble before you, and I know how hard that was for you. It's like, that's just so mean. Like, she wants him to feel how angry she is. And she talks about anger, and I think it's important to be honest about your anger. I think that's good. But to me, it seems like she just wants him to feel bad for leaving her to go and take care of this very important problem. And it just seems like she's coming from an unhealthy place. Like, your stupid challenge is not anything on the grand scheme of things. It's not. It's a fucking Facebook group and some butt shots with a squirrel on it. You know, like, let's keep this in relative reality for a second. She doesn't live there, though, so we know she lives in the outer space.
Felt your pain, meaning like I'm not saying I felt pain. I did, but I felt your pain, and I wanted you to be happy and feel good in a way that, like, I wanted you to love yourself the way that I loved you. I wanted you to see yourself the way that I saw you. And so it was a very easy, like, yeah, do it. I don't even care. But when you say, yeah, do it, I don't even care what it is going to, you know, how hard it's going to be. You don't know in that moment. And I'm so glad I didn't know how hard or how heavy it was going to be, because I think had I known the pain of that change, it would have been like, wait, hold on. Is the pain of remaining the same? Like, is this more comfortable right now? And I mean, obviously I would have for sure encouraged no matter what, but we were on the eve of a challenge that we had grown, right? So it had grown in size with people. It had grown in magnitude of like how it had helped people, like the excitement surrounding it. It had grown in that it created.
Oh yeah, by the way, this is just an ad that she's reciting without saying #ad about how amazing this community of safe space is going to be for people. And she's going to pitch to it in a second. So just, you know, this is what that is. Has nothing to do with Dave's sobriety, has nothing to do with their relationship. It's just to get people to go to this stupid challenge that I cannot wait to not hear about for 6 months.
The demand for an event, which I'd never done before. And you and I were going to do that event together. Like, we grew this community. They came not to me. They came to us, Dave. They came to you and they came to me for very different things. Like, and it was the most beautiful community. And because the first was so great, like, and I was flying high and so proud of what we had created, so proud of what I had done. Like, I've never done anything on my own. And yes, the community was us, but there were elements of, because I am a trainer, like all of the things I did, created nutrition education. I created without a counterpart, without a trainer counterpart. So I was, again, and when I'm excited, I go big. You know that it's like,
of course.
So challenged.
I don't know. Like, two people gassing each other up. Like, what is she even talking about? I go big. Okay, you have a phone that you do Instagram lives from, and then you have a phone in which you do private Instagram lives and tell people, or Zoom calls where you tell people what to eat. Yeah, so big. Oh, and you had an event with 100 people max? Like, I think that's being very generous to say 100 people. And I also have a theory about that, and let's just talk about that for a second. In the live that she did with one of her former, like, participants of the what am I saying? She did an Instagram live with the winner, the Miss Show Up, and her daughter, who was a part of the challenge the second time, trying to promote this thing. Where are they? Here they are. I'm not going to play the clip. It's too long. I don't even know where it is. But if you have time, you want to go back. I don't know why she's doing her hair like this now. And watch it. The woman there says, and I'll find her. She says, like, oh, her daughter, who's 14, went because an anonymous donor gave her a ticket to go to show up. So that's a thing that was in Chandler, Arizona. That was like $1,100 and also $4,000, depending if you got the VIP or the normal general ticket price. So during this interview, this woman here, I forget her name, Heather or something. She's like, oh yeah, somebody anonymously donated her ticket to come, and there was so many people, like 9 or 10 people who in this community is just so giving that they anonymously donated so that these people could go to the event. My theory is that Heidi paid for it so that she wouldn't look foolish that she only sold 6 tickets. And so she anonymously donated to people so that it would look amazing, and that they hired a video crew, they hired a photographer. She can't have no one show up ironically, and make it look bad. So I think that's why. And then Heidi said, I also lost money. And I'm like, how could she have lost money? The money that she would have spent $4,000 times however many VIPs, and also 1,100 times however many regular people, she would have been in the red. But if she covered 10 plus tickets, 9 tickets, yeah, then she's maybe in more financial trouble, and she's admitted that she didn't make money from Show Up. So now I'm starting to think it's all bullshit. And I thought that before. I was surprised that many people showed up, but now it makes sense. So that was my theory. So if you want to go back and listen to it, you can hear what I had to say and see if it matches, because that was my thoughts listening to that. I was like, and that's typical. I've worked for these types of events before as a videographer, and people that are like, oh yeah, my friends, they gave me a free ticket so I could sit here and make it look like more people were here. That's very common, especially in the beginning. Anyways, let's go back to here. More Heidi bitching.
I dove all the way in, like committed to things that I didn't know the heaviness of at the time. And what's so cool is that we are now on the eve. We are days out from our 3rd challenge. Starts May 9th. We've actually been inside a pre-week, which is so exciting. But this 3rd challenge is its best version of a challenge. And I hate to even call it a challenge, because it's not. It is a lifestyle. It's a community. It's a way of being. It is a thing that when you get a taste of it, you are never going to not want to be a part of it. And this 3rd round, right? Because we've kept going, even in the face of hard. And actually, I believe it's become what it is because of the hard, but it will inevitably be the absolute greatest challenge because of the pain and because of the circumstances, because, Dave, you chose to take care of yourself, right? It's a courageous thing. It was the hardest choice you could make, and the best and most courageous to know that people inside of the challenge, people in your life like me, we're going to feel upset. We're going to feel pain because you chose to take care of yourself, but it didn't matter, right? It really did not matter. The fact that you chose to do it allowed you to become this best version of yourself, and allowed me to continue creating what I know I was meant to create for the world, and is allowing this challenge or this community or this way of life to be what it is today. And it's a thing that I'm so, so proud of. I mean, I feel like everybody listening needs to be inside of this because it's so much fun. Challenge starts May.
I think all 3 of these people, the trifecta as I've called them, the Triforce, the Rachel, Dave, Heidi Triforce. I don't know about Cez. He stays out of the limelight, so kudos to him. He doesn't get to be a part of this quad. It's only a trifecta for now. They need a dose of reality. That's what they need. They need a reality check. They've been living in this bubble of LA and being worshipped on stage and people crying and signing their books for them, and just like, they don't know reality anymore. It's quite evident that they are living on alternate planes of reality and this manifestation, and I'm gonna believe it and it's gonna come true, and this is like Heidi saying like this is what she's creating for the world and it's impacting the world. It's just so ridiculous. You're telling people to eat more broccoli and to do squats. That is not life-changing. That might help somebody lose weight, and I hope it does, and good for them. But this is like, get a grip on how you're changing people. Dave's saying that his book, Built Through Courage, which was a dumpster fire, like I said, which was all fake anyways, apparently, according to him, that it's all lies, that he's always been a mess, is going to help someone get employed. It's going to change their life. Get a grip. That's what they need. They need to go and like work somewhere real, or be told, look like to their face, like, you cannot keep saying this stuff. You need to understand where your place is in the world and just stop giving advice that you just don't understand 99% of the world's population. It's embarrassing to say like, oh, my squirrel booty glute pack is my, contribution to the world. It's like, come on. You're selling something because this is a capitalist society. That's all it is. Just be real. Just admit reality. Please, God, you're not saving the earth.
9th, so it's Monday. It's at HeidiPowell.net/getfit. I think everybody needs to join. I think we all need to party.
Okay, I'm not gonna play the whole commercial, but I really do want to soundbite this. Tell me if you agree. Not this part. This first part.
Oh, I love that sound.
Oh, I love that sound. I find it funny. Okay, skipping that.
Organize your online and in-person Shopify.com.
Okay. Oh, oops.
Together right now. That's Shopify.com/rise together.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, you committed to them believing, as was my belief when they were being created, that I would also be playing the role that I had played, not as an expert in fitness, but as a partner who is supportive and as someone who was regularly, in the community and for the community and making them laugh and also showing them what a new person inside of fitness or a new person learning nutrition or a new person, like you're the expert and you do your expert things so well. But I think part of what worked so great in us doing it together was I was able to be something of a, hey guys, I'm a little bit more like you, a student of this teacher, and let's have some fun. And now I'm stepping away.
Well, and I was.
Does Dave forget he was like a fitness trainer? But not really. He played the same exact role on the Rise fitness app. He was supposed to be the same exact character on that app. Like, oh, I'm new to fitness. Like, he's not new to fitness. He's not an instructor by any sense of the word or an expert, but he's not new to fitness. Like, he's never done a move before. He still is on Rachel's app. Like, we could literally look at it right now. The Rise Together app, Rise fitness app that they both said was $1 billion idea, which is sitting, idle in the app store. And I don't think many people are subscribing to that any longer. But it's like, he just like moved from Rachel to Heidi. And he's like, oh, yes, I play a pivotal role in this community. Like, shut up. You don't. Your pivotal role is to be there with Heidi because she doesn't want to be alone. That's your pivotal role, apparently.
Very confident in my ability to provide the expertise. Because again, it's a thing I've done for many years. I did it on national TV, all of the things. But the tagline of the community, remember, became, we come for Heidi's workouts, we stay for Dave's lives. And I loved it. And so then when, at first when you had checked into treatment, there was a point where you had tried for a couple reasons. Number one, to help offset my load. And number two, community was everything to you. This community was everything to you. And, the outside world maybe never.
That's another dig at him, I feel like. The first time she's like, your world was crumbling around you, right? Like that, your world was crumbling. Now she's like, that community was everything to you. And then you left it. Like, I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but it seems like she really wants to reinforce all the things that he probably thought of before leaving to go to treatment to make him feel bad about the choice he made. And I don't know why, as the most supportive person would do that. But that's just the way I'm reading it.
Give you a chance to see you for who you are, like I do. And this community actually did. And they've been through a lot of your hard times in the last one. And so have a place where you were loved and accepted. The idea, I remember you saying the idea of you not being able to participate was earth-shattering in a way.
Oh, so heavy for me, so hard, because it was, to your point, in a world where it felt like I had to perpetually wear a mask of some kind and, everything's great or spinning whatever was actually happening in my life that I wasn't necessarily as proud of into something that felt more palatable for the masses. this community was the single place where I could walk in and just be me, whether it was me crying about something that I was processing in life, or me being silly and funny and goofy and whatever. But like the idea that I'd have to step away was really hard. And I had to step away from that too.
And yes, and I remember the day. I remember where I was with the conversation where we had about stepping away. And it was, I knew how hard it was going to be for me because I had so many feelings of self-doubt and fear and insecurity because I've never in my life carried anything on my own. And I doubted my ability to. I mean, you know, I was married to Chris, who I was raised up under him in fitness, right? And so to be in a place where even though I was the fitness and the nutrition person, like the thought of delivering it without a funny counterpart was really and an encouraging and a loving counterpart was super scary. And my load went from, and granted, you and I were dealing with personal issues between the two of us and mending things because it just comes with it. But I never wanted to carry that ever into the community. I didn't. Yep. And I think we processed.
Isn't that like, I've said this before, but they contradict each other. They contradict their statements within 2 sentences. He's like, Dave said, oh, I don't want to wear a mask. I didn't have to wear a mask in this community. I could just be myself because the masses, who I guess are like his Instagram followers, they wanted me to be a certain way and da-da-da-da, and I couldn't be myself, so I went here to be myself. And Heidi then 2 seconds later goes, well, we had a lot of personal issues, but we're not going to bring that into the community. Okay, so that's a fucking mask too, dummies. If you can't be honest about your stuff going on, you have to act like you're a happy, loving couple. That's a mask. What are you talking about? They just contradict each other. That's how I feel.
Really well, but I did as a person, and you knew this. I because I've been such a people pleaser for most of my life, I never liked to let people know when I was upset or angry. And I remember feeling anger. Like as I got into it, I saw the load I was carrying and the number of lives I was.
Heidi's got a lot of loads these days. She's loading up. If we had I need a load ticker timer to count how many times she said the word load. What a load of.
Doing a week, you know, it was like I was carrying the lives in the community. I was creating nutrition education curriculum. I was delivering it for 2.5 hours. I was then creating, you know, VIP curriculum and you know me, I don't wing anything. I create. I want to make sure. I was then delivering VIP curriculum. It was just I became the mastermind. You at one point no longer were in any of the day-to-day, and simultaneously, I was learning what it felt like to carry and create an event. And I am such a perfectionist that and I did it alone, right? I think a lot of people, because of your history, assumed that you helped with the event. It was 100% me and the team while you were away. And it was probably best that way because nothing was repetitive of anything. You know, it was right. But
again, I did everything, which I assume she did anyways. Dave said his role was to be supportive of her or whatever, and he showed up, you know, like he did with Rachel, to just take the pictures and be the doting boyfriend. That seems to be his role in life, which, okay, that's your own choice, but why don't you just admit it? She had to make it a super point that I did this, I did that, I did that, I did this, and it's so hard. It's really hard for me to do these things. It's that's the basics, the very basics of a job, of any job. I could be you guys, I had to turn on the microphone. I had to make these clouds. I had to go and listen to these psychopaths for 6 hours to make sure I understand the full context. I also cut sound bites. I had to cut different segments. It is so hard. Oh my gosh. I could do that, but that's stupid because I like doing it. It's part of my job. I appreciate every part of the process in this, making a YouTube channel. She claims this community is so important to me. This community, all those steps that she just named are the basics. Allegedly, she has the knowledge from all these years of training and being on TV and talking about fitness. package that, hire someone to put that together, go take a couple photos in a photo shoot. I mean, I'm not saying it's not hard work, but the way she makes it seem is like she's saving society and not getting paid for it. She's getting thousands and thousands of dollars from these participants, like $200 a pop. So like 3 people, that's over $1,000. It's a fair trade-off. They made like 40 grand for the first round or like something like that, like insane. It's like, what do you want? Like you want to be a housewife, I guess, like housewife of like LA where you don't have to do anything and you just make money because you're like just sitting at home. Like that's cool, but find that then. It's just complaining about doing the basics of your job. I don't know. She already gets worshipped enough. It's like,
but it was heavy. I had some conversations with you that I probably could have worded a little bit nicer. But I remember I was really frustrated. And I remember in those moments of frustration, we tend to blame other people, right, for where we're at. But the reality is I create my own circumstances, right? I created the circumstances that landed me carrying a load. We all do. So I need to take responsibility, but it was really hard and I wouldn't have changed. I even had said, I wouldn't change you being in treatment because I want you to be your best you because it would not have ended well otherwise.
Yeah.
But also this is freaking hard. And I didn't say the word freaking. There were a lot of F-bombs and a lot of feeling and crying and breaking down and like actually feeling, I think I had even told you, like, I'm not a victim. I've never been a victim. And I remember being like, I feel like I'm the one that everyone should feel like I was playing the victim card, which I needed to pull myself out of.
Okay, so what she's saying here is, I'm assuming, is that when people were like feeling bad for Dave for going into rehab, that people really should have felt bad for her because she had to do donkey kicks on her floor in her mansion in Arizona by herself. She's the true victim, but she understands she was playing the victim card, but she made her reality and it's really hard. She has so many loads to carry that, people just weren't understanding her perspective on Dave getting sober. Also, and I saw it in the comments too, what about Dave's children? There's no mention of them at all. Like, like it's been really hard staying away from my children for 8 weeks and having Rachel be the one to take them and take the responsibility of them, for 8 weeks straight or whatever, full time, as they like to argue back and forth. Like, nothing. Just like, no, I really miss these strangers who paid me money on the internet. That's what I missed. Not my kids, because they just take from me. These other people give me life. They give me life.
It's giving me life.
Exactly. Okay, let's hear what else Heidi had to endure while Dave was gone. And he was also on the whole reason that we even found out he was in rehab is because he was on the Zooms and you could see that he was in a different background and he was trying to pretend he was in Austin. And then, okay, this is my conspiracy theory. Heidi obviously has already said she was so pissed off that he had to go, during this launch and that she was going to be, loaded up with all this work, that she was the one, because it was on the Reddit and stuff, people were speculating that he was somewhere that he wasn't, just based on how he was kind of cryptically posting and it was like odd. But she was the one who confirmed it. She was like, oh, Dave's in California. And then everyone was like, oh my God, it's confirmed because look, this is that rehab thing that someone found a little bit ago. So it was like, and we know that she reads on Reddit because her stories tend to, I don't know, actually we don't know. We're speculating that she's on Reddit reading at least sometimes about what people are saying about her because she seems to like answer certain questions that people are bringing up on Reddit. So it just seems like she wanted Dave to be outed so that people could feel bad for her. That's my take on all this, and I don't think she's above it. If you're asking that question, oh, do you think she's really that type of person? Yes, I do. Personally.
And it was, but what was happening, and I didn't notice it at the time. Like, I remember wanting to quit everything many times and just feeling like I couldn't stay afloat with my kids and I couldn't be. And this is when you and I decided, I mean, to kind of go individual journeys. Cause I said, I can't carry the load of being in a relationship and carry the load of what I'm carrying over here and carry the load of being a mom because I'm not carrying the load right now of loving myself. And so this is where you and I decided to go on a exploration journey to love ourselves and really to have a better relationship with who we are.
What's interesting is I remember, because obviously I also remember how hard it felt.
Okay, so just to recap that part, she basically said like, okay, well, since you decided to go to rehab, I guess we're gonna break up because I'm doing too much, having to, talk to people about fitness online for an hour a day, and that's just too much for me. And I don't think they should be together at all. I think they should both take a break from each other. And if I was their family, I'd be like, you should probably spend some time apart. You guys seem a little bit codependent. Why don't you just go take a break? But she seems like she's punishing him by breaking up with him for going to rehab. That's not the reason she should break up with him. Well, I was pissed because, he left me, so therefore it's just like, I don't know. It just seems like kind of mean, and he just takes it as like, oh yeah, this is great. This is wonderful. She's so supportive. It's like, it doesn't sound like supportive. Not one thing has sounded supportive other than her saying, I've been really supportive of you. It doesn't sound supportive to me.
For me to to know that I had provoked something that was unpleasant in any way, certainly like the anger felt justified, and also like being in treatment as a recipient of it was the best possible place for it to be delivered, because it's a crazy thing, because our kind of ahas in the need for individual journeys happened in real time on both sides in a way that didn't make it feel like, oh no, you're leaving. Oh no, you're leaving. It was, hey, I'm also inside of this journey in treatment, realizing how much trying to stay 1 foot in the community or 1 foot in outside world or 1 foot in this relationship is probably in some ways compromising my ability to get as much out of what I am doing in this. And there is something, I mean, like, God, I've talked about being codependent so much. Like, there was something really profoundly beautiful in having to, or getting the opportunity to process the frustration of someone for whom I care so much about, and being okay with that frustration existing, or not trying necessarily to like bend or morph into something that would in some ways deny part of what was necessary in my own journey, even though it was painful for you. I mean, shoot, it's still a thing I got to work on all the time, every day. And yet, so much of like the evidence that could exist in being okay with me being on an individual journey is part of what I think affords a more whole version of me now, being able to engage in more productive and healthy conversations with you, especially when we disagree, especially when, there's something that could be tension-ish in between the two of us. And that was born as a gift during an insanely hard season where I hated the fact that you were upset, but had to become okay with it, and was the blessed recipient of so much support in therapy and group therapy to help process some of what it felt like to let you down, to feel the way that it felt, to know, gosh, I hate the fact that she's having to carry this outside of, out there by herself without me to be able to help in the way that I thought I would be able to.
I have no earthly fucking idea what he meant by any of that. No, like 0%. That was like one sentence. That whole thing, that last 45 seconds was one sentence. I cannot even begin to try to unpack it, to try to translate. I don't know. We're going to have to just move on because I have no idea. I'm with Andrea or Andrea. I'm lost. Let's skip forward past this ad.
Her aunts, who stepped in to raise him and his brothers after his father's shocking, untimely death. We get to hear from the women themselves about how they eating sex and money. It takes a woman, offers listeners an emotional journey of tragedy, triumph, and healing, and it celebrates women.
What is this?
At www.audible.com/.
Oh, okay. Audible. All right.
Takes a woman.
Can these companies just like understand that these podcasts are awful? Rachel's, his, they're all horrible. The only people that listen to it probably are the people who hate them. And I will not buy these products on purpose just to spite them.
We both were repeating patterns, right? from past relationships. And I've had a dad who went to treatment. I have a lot of family who went to treatment. I had, relationships that I was usually the fixer, the one that when something like this would happen, I would run in and try and save. And it was super uncomfortable for me to say, and not that you didn't ask, right? And usually the people that I'm fixing don't ask. It's a insecurity in me it's my codependent saying, I'll save you. But it was super uncomfortable for me to say, I need to save myself. And I remember having conversations with you I need to save myself before I can save anybody. And again, you didn't ask, it wasn't that, but I also, and I knew, quote unquote, me saving myself, me breaking that pattern would actually result in the insanity loop not continuing. And same with you.
Yeah.
Like you had the opportunity and you had some of the same patterns showing up, and you, because of the support and because of where you were, you were able to break some of the insanity loop, which has helped us both create better relationships with ourselves. And also, had you not had that not all happen, and had I not been put in a position that was like sink or swim, I don't think I ever would have believed in myself enough to try to grow in the ways that I've grown over the past handful of months. Truly,
Yeah.
I've put myself in situations, whether I found myself in situations or I put myself in situations that were so scary, uncomfortable, that had me crying and feeling more emotion than I ever felt comfortable feeling before, because I was never a crier, but have resulted in me realizing all I need is me, right? And
Yep.
I'm really trying to figure out why she's crying over all of this stuff. Yeah, it sucks. Your boyfriend who you love, allegedly, okay. Your boyfriend who you love is in treatment. He needs help. Yeah, that's sad. That deserves a cry. But every day, so much. I think she's really crying over, I don't want to type this into the computer. I don't want to recruit people. People should just give me money for looking at me. That's what I want. That's how I feel, is what she's asking for. She's like, I just want the money to appear. I don't want to have to tell people to, do this squat this way. I don't want to. I just want them to give it to me for free. Money. It's like that. What show is that? Is that Parks and Rec, where the one daughter is like, money please? Like, that's what she wants, it feels like, just based on what she's saying. Because Dave's issues as an alcoholic are his own issues, but it's nothing to do with her. She's making it an issue about her, like, oh well, it's like someone saying like, well, my parent, my mom has cancer, but like, yeah, well, I have to drive her every day to chemo. It's so annoying. It's so hard to drive her. It's so far. Like, people should care about me. It's like, whoa, okay, let's keep it in perspective. Yes, there's people should, or there should be some sort of appreciation for your hard work and effort, but it should not be at the same level as, oh my gosh, that sucks that your mom's in chemo. You know what I'm trying to say? It just seems like an over dramatization of oh God, it was the hardest hard it's ever been hearted. It's like, what did you say you do again? Thank you, Megan. I appreciate that. Can Heidi just tell us one more time she was never a crier? I call BS. I agree. She cries constantly. But, she's made it very clear that
I am not emotionally stable.
She's been honest.
It's okay to cry.
And she's told us that, so there you go. Thank you, Megan, once again. Okay, let's just go back. I've said my piece.
All I need is me, then I can want you, or I can want this, and I can be blessed by this, and everything else is icing on the cake. But me not needing, feeling like I need somebody else to complete who I am, is the freest love, right? If I can love myself freely, and you can love who you are freely, and we can let our relationship be whatever it is, that there's been so much peace and freedom inside of that, and freedom to create and support each other that has no resemblance of what it might have been like before, right?
Yeah.
Where we've kind of felt like we needed each other to create. No, we both have the power to create individually now and support the other in a way that only amplifies.
Yeah. Well, number one, I'm going to acknowledge in every part of my life, I am still very much a work in progress in this. Like there are still patterns that I see present themselves in codependence and in like wanting to, as a people pleaser.
I just want to make it clear once again, Dave flew, okay, the second round, he was in rehab, right? So she had no choice but to do it herself. She was thrown into the wolves of having to do this work alone. Oh my gosh, with a team of like 4 people who she also worked with and was involved with. So I don't know where alone is, but okay, in her world, not with a romantic partner she wasn't doing a business with. So this time, the third round, where now she's saying, doing on this podcast, like, oh, I can do things alone. I need to love myself. I need to be alone, blah, 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 blah. I need to break up with you because you're such a horrible person for going to rehab and leaving me alone in this challenge, whatever. Okay, fine. She flew to Texas to borrow his camera to record the videos for the challenge. Okay, he flies to Arizona like a week later, not even, less than a week later, to be at the launch so he can be in the videos with like the launch videos. And he's in the lives right now. He's in her stories. He's in the pictures that are saying like, me and Dave are going to do breath work with Danielle again for some reason. They already did breath work with Danielle once. It's like he's a part of it again. So what have you really learned? Freaking nothing. All these lessons you've learned have been one ear and out the other, and now you're going to do whatever you want and just do your codependent thing. So being aware of your codependency doesn't fix your codependency. Being aware that you're someone who likes to people please does not fix you being a people pleaser. That's what I've learned from listening to these people. They're self-aware to a point, and then they just do whatever the fuck they want. Rachel too. She's aware that she has some issues, and then she just does it anyways. It's like, okay, cool. Do as I say, not as I do. That's the three of their mottos, all of them.
Please, in a way that might deny part of myself. But I now, because I think that some of the stuff that came out of treatment, but certainly some of the exercise of even us in this last window, I have a self-awareness to when it starts to show up that hopefully helps shut it down. But also, I think that there was such a fundamental shift for me in kind of just this, like the notion of acceptance and not trying to force a thing in this relationship. And frankly, like in many parts of life, because of a lot of the good that was presenting itself in things not working out the way that I would have liked. I mean, I love the work that we were doing, and I love that community, and the idea that I might be kept from it, or even like more. I was now watching on the outside a thing that was even going beyond what it had been previously, and was mourning a little bit the fact that I wouldn't necessarily be afforded access because of my needing to keep myself away from being as engaged or involved so I could work on myself. But being okay with, well, this is the path to healing. This is the path to loving myself. This is the path to understanding myself. This is the path to confronting the things I don't want to necessarily confront. And if the outcome ends up being that I am a more whole, more in love with me, more confident and comfortable in my skin person, and it just means that you don't end up being a fit for that, it's a better outcome than denying part of myself or following some of those codependent patterns. And in that denying pieces of me, not loving like all of myself because of what feels like a requirement to be okay in the relationship.
Okay, he's going on another Davey rant. Dave is going out of control with his word salad. He's just piling on the croutons at this point. So to kind of try to make sense of this, he basically claps back, as they say on BuzzFeed. he's clapping back at Heidi and saying, well, you didn't really fit into my plan to be all that I can be and stay positive and whatever. All the good that was afforded through the bad, which I guess is like, well, good things came out of me having to go to rehab, which, okay, yes, wonderful. I think everyone would agree with that. Yeah, the reason you're there sucks, but you get your life back, is the good, happy ending. But they all these self-help people tend to say like, oh, the hard part was the good part, or it couldn't have happened. I couldn't have had this amazing life had I not experienced the bad. It's like, yes, you could have. You could have skipped over the alcoholism and just dealt with the issues earlier in life, got a therapist earlier in life, and probably, possibly, maybe not had an alcohol problem. So saying like, oh, I'm glad that I didn't take care of my mental health earlier because then I hit rock bottom and then got to go to rehab and it all worked out. That's amazing. It's like, that's like worst case scenario. Yes, I mean, it's glad that you got through it, but there's other ways to not go through that. Does that make sense? They all make it seem like, oh, you have to go through difficult times to come to the other side. Like, no, you don't. There's a lot of people in this world that don't go through like tragedies and ups and downs and breakups and crazy chaos all the time. They don't. I'm one of the people that that in the past have tended to go through chaos, but there's lots that don't, and they're perfectly fine. And they have a wonderful life without needing to go through anything. Anyways, so he's just basically saying like, okay, you didn't fit into my plan necessarily either, Heidi.
As soon as I was like at a place where I could let go, yeah, there's days where I feel tempted to try and put my thumb on the scale, but all of the pressure of like, how do I make this work gave way to, it will only actually work and work in the way that allows you to feel peace and happiness and contentment with yourself if you stay true to yourself and fight to always come back to that place, irrespective of the outcome.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. And I think what you're saying is,
Heidi doesn't know either. She's like, what I think you're saying is, you're mad at me? You don't love me no more? That's going to be a problem. I actually broke up with you. And what I think you're saying is total bullshit. And actually, I dumped your ass and we're just best friends. Maybe?
and I agree with it. But oftentimes we all tend to bend and become who we think another person wants us to be. When the reality is, if they don't love you for all of who you are or all that you are not, it is not a thing worth forcing. Is that what we're saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yep. And it's scary, I think, because the idea of being alone is a super scary thing for a lot of people, right? And it's always been the scariest thing for me until these past 5 months, right? And it's not that there is peace in alone, and alone, you were alone for.
This woman has not spent like 6 hours alone, just for the record. First of all, she spends all of her time on Instagram, so I feel like that's basically in her world like being around 500,000 people at all times. She posts constantly. She's got her children, she's got her mother, she's going on dates with her mom and her mom's dates, and then she's with Dave every 5 seconds, and she went to fly out to see Dave while he was in rehab, and she had Dave on the Zoom calls during this challenge where she says she did everything alone. He was still there. I saw it. I saw the freeze frames of him there, and it was his birthday, and the whole group was singing him happy birthday. She wasn't alone at all. Oh, these last 5 months I've been so alone. If this is you being alone, you got a big realization coming if you ever are actually alone. As soon as your kids move out of the house and don't come home, which I wouldn't blame them, you're going to be alone then. Was that too mean? Okay, I'm sorry. But it's true. Like, she doesn't treat her children very nice from what I can see on Instagram. And she's with Dave right now. She's been with Dave a million times in the last month. So, okay, erase all of this. You've now gone away from being alone for 5 months. Now you're back with Dave.
Weeks when you were away, right? And when you are alone and you get to be with your thoughts, it's you and I were talking about it right before this podcast. We were talking about something totally different, but the reality is we think the answers are in other people. Like we're searching for answers. We're searching for guidance. I just want to learn from this person. I just want to, and I had said to you, I said, what's interesting is the answers we're looking for are actually inside of us, right? They are. Like, if we
Yeah.
can go internal more, sometimes stop searching, search less outside and search more inside, and come to terms and peace with what's going on in our head and our heart, right? But that alone is so scary if you've never been, you know, and you and I have
Yeah.
both been relationship after relationship bending to who we thought the other people want, you know, and I'm not giving any one specific example, but there's many for me, always bending to what I thought they needed me to be or wanted me to be so that I would be enough, right?
Okay, I just want to point out this comment. That is such a funny thing that if Tea Time with Noah never comes out, but then later on she's like 25 and she decides like, I need to write about my life. Call it Tea Time with Noah. Ugh, what an amazing turn of events that would be. All would be right with the world. And I'm going to say and bring up this clip later and be like, oh, we predicted this 20 years ago. That's my voice when I'm older.
When I was I was never enough for me in that way. Never.
Yeah. By the way, though, like part of space from social media is a reflection of trying to unlearn a super unhealthy thing that exists in my past, which is when they clap, I feel good about me. When they boo, I feel bad about me.
Oh, it's always in the past. It's always in the past. He learned this in Built Through Courage. He learned this in his first book. He learned this at the Rise conference. But yet every time he references it, he didn't learn it until later. You know, like every time he goes back, it's like, yes, in the past I used to care what people think. Okay, yeah. You can be self-aware and be like, oh, you know, I really value people and what they say about me, and it really hurts my feelings or it really sways my behavior. And then still let it affect you every day. Like, it doesn't mean because now someone's pointed out to you automatically, once again, that it's changed, it's solved. He still very much wants applause and not boos, and he very much cares about what people's, because why is he in the group, the echo chamber of people who will worship him and love him and are going to support him and keep him in a safe place? He would just get off the internet and leave it. Go live his life with his kids. My God. Stop this insanity. You still love all these things. And like, you don't want to read anything negative because, oh my God, it might hurt your ego. Like, ugh. Oh no.
Good about me for staying true to me, irrespective of.
I'm sorry about these. I'm seeing that there's like spam. I swear to God, I feel like there's like a Heidi or Dave or somebody, because like whenever they find that we're going live, I feel like at this point they start to spam it. Maybe it's just autoed, but it seems only when I talk about them specifically.
What anybody might ever have to say about me or think about me, as long as I can feel good about having lived up to what I have set as expectations or into values or whatever it might be, that's fantastic. And also, you know, one of the stranger things that came out of the decision to jump into treatment and the realization, the awakening to how important it is for individual journey, as much as I think our individual journeys toward wholeness have now brought us closer together, there's also, I think, it's easier for us, I think, to argue for still needing time away from each other or individual time so that we don't run back into, oh my goodness, you know, like I can't be all of me if I'm not always with you. Doesn't mean I don't want to spend time with you. I love spending time with you. And I'm also going to fight for time with me in the same way that I believe you love spending time with me, but also are always going to fight for and need your own individual time too.
No, she really doesn't. She doesn't, and she doesn't want it. And you don't really want it either, Dave. Let's be honest here. You both don't want to spend time alone. Okay, don't say like, oh, we want to spend time alone, and then don't do it. Just by saying it doesn't make it true. Once again, there's been millions of hours of evidence to point to the contrary, that you both want to spend more time together than you do alone. Because it is painful. I totally understand. I get very anxious sometimes when I'm alone. It's something I need to work on. But I know that I'm not solved, and I'm not going to start writing a book of how to be alone, my story of success, because I'm not there yet. That's all I ask of them to do, is stop lying to themselves. Oh, in the past, 2 days ago I was this, but now I've learned. I'm different now. No, you're not. You're the same.
Yeah, I will never, ever, ever prioritize a relationship with somebody else over my relationship with myself again.
Here we go.
And
Let's go.
You know this. I've had
I know.
plenty of conversations about this. It's if I
This is called denial, folks. This is called denial. And what has she done to fix this? Or what has she done to work on this? What? Him going to rehab and forcing her to be alone for a tiny bit of time, which she wasn't even alone? This is bullshit. She's not, she's with him right now. Oh my God.
whole with who I am, and I'm going to struggle, right? Right now I'm in a really good place, but I'm going to struggle because I'm human. I don't have it figured out. It's only a matter of time before something happens and pulls me off track, right? And then I got to start all over, right? I have to figure out all and repair my relationship with myself. But if I have my relationship with myself, it allows me in a way, I don't want to say unaffected because that makes it sound robotic, but less affected, right? Like I can't control, I don't know what you or any other human that I'm going to have a relationship with is going to choose. Not only choose, I don't know what God's going to choose, whether he takes them away one day or doesn't. And if I am ever so dependent on another human to find my value or my worth, and that dependency is a thing that can be literally taken from me at any time, whether it's by choice of them or by choice of God, right? And I haven't created or worked on my relationship with myself, that's a miserable existence. But if I can be whole and complete always and forever, if I can work on that first, and if everybody listening can work on that first, what's so cool is that any and all interaction with you, I mean, we have our things, right? But the reality, like, it's so much more beautiful. It truly becomes icing on the cake to have interaction with you or somebody else, especially when they're working on themselves, right?
Yeah.
And I had said to you months ago, like I want a man, not need a man, and I want a man that who wants me does not need me, right? And in that space, feeling it and getting tastes of it it's a thing. I'm not interested in anything else besides that, right? Yeah.
What's crazy about all of it, just to bring it full circle as we close, is I certainly would never have had any appetite to, in choosing to do something that I needed to do for myself, have it inconvenience you or have it be something that would produce anger. And I got to witness, as much as there certainly were rocky moments that I, did not enjoy, you stepping even more fully into who you are and recognizing how much you can do on your own outside of, being in a partnership or, working with anyone. And as much as the event, which was just an extraordinary thing to witness, you getting a taste of how much more you have a capacity for. In some ways, it was a byproduct of this, and it was beautiful. I also, in a world where wouldn't change.
I love how they say, in a world where, it's like, what? In a world where what? This is the world in which we all live in. In a world where my delusions wouldn't supersede reality, I think I might, do something differently. It's like, this is the world, bro. This is the world. You live in it. Other people live here too, even despite their thoughts and their reactions that, normal people don't live. It's just them in a bubble. Oh, God. I don't know. It's so funny, and we're about to wrap. It's almost like there's 6 minutes left. The funniest part, and you'll hear it in a second, is like, he's like getting on a flight to go see her. After all the things we just heard, I will never let a man, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and Dave saying whatever he's saying, who knows, doesn't matter. And he's like he's leaving this Zoom call to get on a flight to go to Arizona to then codepend with her. And then we're going to put Audible ad on this and a Shopify ad as if this is something that's valuable to anybody. It's like, it's a slap in the face to every one of their followers that actually like them. Like, okay, here's all this stuff that we're lying about. Okay, here's all this stuff that we haven't come to grips with. Okay, now I'm going to go fly to Heidi and just completely do the opposite of what I just said to do. Bye, idiots.
Stinking thing about when we met and how quickly we fell into a relationship and love. There was something in the stepping away that also afforded some time to process the things that the like enthusiasm of a new relationship probably blurred a little of the kind of time that I should have been spending to fully process trauma of end of marriage and divorce. And so the thing is, I am so grateful for everything having happened exactly as it had. And I also appreciate that like the things that end up presenting in 2022 are all a gift of a sequence of events that had to happen exactly as they did. And as much as I was proud of, how strong I felt like I came out of divorce, or how much good was produced, there still were things that hadn't been fully identified or examined. As a result, there was a stumble and fall. And the stumble and fall in and of itself, not a thing that I enjoy necessarily, but I do like the benefit that comes in diving in and having the space to really now investigate all of the things that I, hadn't previously. So good came out of hard.
I know we're short on time, but I do want to say, I feel like this is another podcast we could go into, because the truth is that stumble and that fall was a result of forcing things. And now it's so awesome to so clearly see the difference between force versus flow. And when something doesn't feel right, when there's so much force, when you're having to work harder than feels comfortable. And I am all about hard work. There's no one that works harder than me, but there is a working.
That's the best line. I am all about hard work. There is no one that works harder than me. But also, I've never done anything by myself before, and I actually have no idea how to do anything without a boyfriend to hold my hand during the whole process. And also, if it requires anything more professional than just like sitting on the floor and crying and those types of activities, I'm out. But actually, no one works harder than me.
Harder, not smarter, in a way that you are fighting and you are forcing, right? And that force, when something doesn't feel right, something's not right. That's a sign to step out of whatever that is. And we sometimes don't listen to that sign, that signal, right? Like you and I had talked about, you didn't listen and you kept going until God, the universe was like, crash, Dave, I'm going to crash you, because now I'm going to reset you. If you're not going to reset yourself, I'm going to reset you. Now there's going to be pain, right? So whether it's chosen pain or not chosen pain, you didn't choose that pain. I didn't choose the pain. I chose the circumstance that led me to the pain, but we didn't choose it. But pain.
What is she talking about now? They make it seem like it's so funny. Like they literally have businesses, right? Both of them, or had, I guess in Dave's case, but Heidi has some sort of business of like, oh, I'm gonna help you transform your life into, overweight person. Oh, we have a visitor. Hello, welcome. I'm gonna transform you from, average weight person to too thin of a person through my booty workouts. Okay, that's her whole shtick in life. And ooh. Thank you. Yeah, let's see. Hold on. Hold that thought. Sorry for that sound. Okay, this is green. My green screen's not picking up, but I got dinner. I'm following Heidi's diet plan. Gummies and nothing else. Oh, God, I lost my thought. I'm sorry. So Heidi's saying, like, okay, we chose the pain, and I didn't choose the pain, but God chose the pain. Like, I don't know. My whole thought is off. But basically, the pain of all this stuff, it's like, I'm confused about what they think pain is. And, like, God is choosing our path for us, and, like, God chooses whatever. So, like, they're making a whole business about, you are in control of your life. If you work out and you do this regimen for 90 days, you will lose X amount of weight. If you follow these steps and read my life story, you will then go to the harbor and go from X to Z, and like you'll traverse through all these waters of whatever, and I'll help you. But then if something goes wrong in their life, it's like, well, God decides everything. So, what else am I supposed to do? It's like, so why are you making these programs? If God just does everything for us, and what's the point? They don't know. They just want to make that money, that sweet moolah. That's all they care about. All right, back to them. They're about to wrap.
And
God.
It is an invitation for growth. Like in this pain that I hated, right? I hated it at times. And that pain, though, it produced a version of me and qualities in me, and I don't give a shit in me type of honestly, I realized what mattered and what didn't. And it produced a version of me that I am more proud of now than I've ever been. Have I arrived? No. Am I going to mess up? Do I still? Yes, and yes. But the reality is I see so clearly a full evolution of we were forced. We saw red flags. There were things that weren't right. We weren't going to stop them because it was so uncomfortable. The thought of changing seemed so painful. So we remained the same till God was like, no, bam, I'm going to make you change.
What did God do? Send him a Budweiser from the sky? Like, what did God... I don't understand what God's plan was here. Let's call Drake and find out what God's plan was here. I'm sorry, it's going to probably sound horrible. Like, what was God's plan? And what forced them... Like, what? Dave coming to the realization that he's drinking more than he should? Isn't that Dave's own decision? Where does God come in? I don't understand. Unless something happened, unless you got arrested or something happened that we still don't know about, and God put that cop in his way. There's something with the cop, because there was a whole story about, oh, we got pulled over and ha ha ha, Heidi sweet talked the cop, but is that what happened, or is there more to the story? Because he was MIA on New Year's Eve, and then all of a sudden stuff kind of went downhill from there. So maybe that's what she's referencing, but of course they were not going to talk about that because they want to be perceived as perfect.
Guess what? You got to feel this. You got to grow. And you and I both, in that pain, could have chosen, and I have in my past before, we could have chosen to victim, and I felt it sometimes, and I was tempted, right? But to keep putting one foot in front of the other, even when it did not make sense. There were so many days where I couldn't make sense of what was. I didn't know if I wanted to talk to you, if I didn't know up from down, high or low. And I was like, I just got to keep moving, right? And through that, it did produce characteristics, traits, growth in a way that I never could have imagined possible.
I don't know. All this is like beating around the bush. Like, they're not saying actual instances. Like, there were times where I just wanted to, I was like, can you explain what time that is for you so we could get some context, please? Because again, this is like a conversation that's being recorded for no reason at all. I don't, this is providing no value when you don't know the circumstances of which they're talking about. Like, oh, I was so angry at you. For what? What did he do? Oh, I couldn't stand you, but I stayed with you even though the red flags were there. And then through that, I had growth. Maybe you grew a growth from the stress. But that's not real growth. I don't know what the lesson is. Like, if especially because this is for an audience of people who are supposed to take something away from this experience, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Not support my boyfriend going to rehab because, that makes me angry or something. Like, I don't get it. I really don't understand what they're trying to say here.
With me, and simultaneously on a separate track, I saw you going through something similar, right?
Yep.
Not knowing up from down, crying all the time, both of us. And I wouldn't change it for the world.
Wouldn't change it for the world. No,
Why? Why do you want to cry and be hysterical and mad and upset all the time? I don't understand. I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't. Why? Because it's your life and your life is supreme to everyone else's, you wouldn't change it? Why can't they admit that they would do things differently if they could go back?
Like, one of the biggest learnings in this, and I hate, again, that I got to learn everything the hardest freaking way, I was trying to outrun the pain and the grief and the rejection of divorce, of things not working the way that I thought that they might, of the worry that without my relationship to Rachel or the work that we did together, that on my own, I wasn't good enough or ready enough or worthy enough or qualified enough. And so I ran as fast as I freaking could to try and prove my worthiness. And I now only can see, man, it was force. It was force, not flow. And that force was a reflection of insecurity and a whole host of other things. And the fall, I hate to fall. And I hate the fact that I'm human, but the fall was one of the best things of my life, probably saved my life. And so
It saved your life, but it also changed mine the other day, like me feeling that I needed.
It saved your life, but unfortunately, it affected my life in a minuscule way. So I guess I would prefer you to have died. That's what it sounds like to me.
Force and valid, prove my value. I remember, gosh, this is another podcast. You gotta get to the airport.
I got to go to the airport. I think that you're fantastic. I love you, and I will see you not terribly long from now. I appreciate. What's that?
I said, hopefully catch that flight.
Yeah, I got to go catch that flight. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue this conversation. The headline ends up being, you got to take care of you, even if it ends up coming at the expense of the comfort of the people that you love the most. Most likely, it will not only produce the good that you need for yourself, but may in fact also create something magical in the person that you let down or create some discomfort for as well. Thank you, Heidi Lynn. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We'll see you next week on the Rise Together podcast.
So I'm assuming Heidi is going to be the new co-host of the Rise Together podcast because she got a microphone. So I'm assuming that means they're pitching the next conversation that we're going to provide our audience that's just as nauseating as this one will be that. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense. It makes more sense in Rise Together alone with Dave. Dave. Again, save the manatees. It's 1:43 in the morning. I feel like my cadence is becoming Dave slowly over time. I'm slowly morphing in the anamorph into Dave Hollis because I listen to so much of their content. It's like, do you ever, this is Rachel. Do you ever think of how, you put your card into a machine and somehow it knows that it's me and I have to sign something? How do they know it's my signature? She's the next Jerry Seinfeld. Oh my gosh, I'm eating a greenish gummy and it looks like I'm not. Okay. Well, I don't think we should watch the Rachel Hollis. I think we should do a separate live. As Heidi would say, it's another podcast. We gotta do another podcast to do the Rachel Hollis advice for 20-year-olds. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow night. We can do it. We can be here again. In this one-way, what do you call it? One-way pen pal situation. That's what we can call these live streams. It's a one-way pen pal. And you're just hearing from me. Man, just one more time. Just take a look at this wonderful website. Man. They are something. What is this? Why does this website do this? Oh, it's in one day. We can all relax in one day. We won't have to see this again. I cannot wait till I don't have to hear her screaming. I mean, I guess I never do. I choose to feel this pain because I'm getting to the other side, and pain is how we find pleasure in the life that we are choosing to live in today's world and tomorrow's tomorrow. Right, Dave? Okay, so that's my 2 cents. What else can I talk about to wrap up? True Sadness merch still available. It's below. You can click on the link below. I still have to add, I was bad, and I'm sorry for that. I will take responsibility. My team just did not add the pictures on the slideshow like they should have. I told them to do it, and they didn't do it. My team sucks. I hate them. The team is me. Yeah. That's it. I got gummies. Steven's home. He watched the new Marvel movie, Mystique or whatever. I'm bad at it. The one about the wizards. Doctor Strange. Was it good? I can't hear you. I'm assuming it's a yes. Well, Courtney can't subscribe. You're famous. What a night. All right, everybody. This has been Inside of Kia's World. We're inside of the world of Kia. And just for the road, let's just recap. Heidi.
I am not emotionally stable. He's always in the bathroom.
I didn't even get to play that one. If you're still here at the end of the night, this is the exclusive new sound.
He's always in the bathroom.
That's Heidi describing Dave.
We're best friends. It's okay to cry.
God, I don't like her voice at all. Here's me, here's a joke. Here's a joke. I don't know. I don't have any jokes. You know what's a joke? Rachel Hollis' podcast. I got some generic sound effects now. You know what it's like when you know what Dave's patio of peace sounds like, or I guess not patio of peace, whatever this is, the backyard of mayhem, backyard of debauchery. This is what it sounds like, probably. Dave is so funny that he thinks that we would believe that he's fishing from 40 feet away into a pond. He's that convinced that no one else would call him out on his shit. Sorry. Okay. All right, I'm choking on my snakes. Next time we come back to do this, I might have a new microphone. I may not. I hope I have headphones that I can find somewhere, or that I didn't leave them at the graduation ceremony. But we'll find that out. And it's been fun. It's been real fun. Thank you for all the super chats and everything. I always really appreciate it. Again, if you want to, I think I don't know if I told you this before, but I think when we hit 15,000 subs, we're at 11,000 now, and going strong, we'll release a second line of merch. So Choose Sadness is the only merch line available right now. And then we'll add a new merch line, and I feel like I have an idea of the one I'm going to do. I think you'll like it, hopefully. It's pretty, it's always relevant, but it's timeless and relevant at the same time. So that'll come, so that's something to look forward to, and maybe if you get 4,000 of your friends quickly together, we can get it faster than sooner than later. All right, and on this note, we didn't play this even once, so to send us out, we have our good friend Dave Hollis to play us out.
Why do you follow me if you don't already own my book?
These are the questions that keep us up at night. All right, everybody, see you later. I'll be back, and I'll post on the community when the time is right. Peace.